Hello everyone, Steve here, deployontheline. Today we had some very interesting news. A lot of the Ork Codex has kind of come out, and I really want to talk about it. This is quite interesting. And I made that video the other day talking about interesting Ork rules, maybe overpowered rules, all that jazz. So nice gentleman on the internet put this into a nice little document for us to read. And if you see everything here, everything is here except for what Dreadmob and Blitz Brigade does. GW kind of showed what Dreadmob did a little bit. So we pretty much got most of what this is. Obviously, with anything, caveats, there's no points here. Technically, we don't know what can lead what, because I guess they're leaving that to the MFM now, because it's not the Codex. But we can infer, especially what's in 10th edition. Obviously, things will change. Some units are support, some units aren't support anymore. So a little bit of changes there. But this will give us some nice little information. And it's, nice and as it is now to the current day, because Ork's coming up quite soon, and it's imperative that you guys know what's going on. So before we begin, I want to talk about our new affiliate link real quick, and then we'll get into the video. Hello everyone, before we get to the video, I just want to quickly talk about our affiliate link. This has been common for a couple videos, but I want to fully put it out there. Dwarven Dice Hall, it's a local store in the Southeast America region. They have a code deployontheline. It is highlighted on the screen. And using that gives me some kickback to no cost to you. They give the good 15% off that a lot of stores give. And the new orcs are on pre-order right now. So if you're looking for new orcs or anything at all, please go there. Get it nice and sent to you as quickly as possible. And it helps support deployontheline. All right, let's get to the rest of the video. All right, so I'm going to actually start with the data sheets, so we actually have context for what these attachments do. But there's a lot of attachments, to say the least. So here we go. Mars Rag, Skirag, Bag. So what they've done is, if you play 9th edition, they went back to the old style of Beast Boss, where they're not leaders anymore. They're just big monsters that hang around. So style line of the Beast Boss are very similar. Mazrog is a little blurry, hard to sorry to say, but I will try and explain it for you guys if you can't read it too well. But at least the Beast Boss is not too blurry, so we can use context. So Mazrog, very similar to what they are now. The differences are they're T9 to T8, and they both have a 3-up save instead of only Mazrog having 3-up save. Otherwise, 10 wounds, 5-up feel no pain over here. And that's that. What they get now, the thump gun's pretty much the same. It's like 3 shots. It might have been D3 before, but it's a small amount of shots. Yep, 3. They don't blast anymore, and then they gain anti-monster vehicle 4-up, but still strength 6, AP 2. They're still hitting on 5s. One thing you'll see in this codex a lot of times, if it's an orc shooting unit, they hit on 4s now, which potentially is dire straits, because a lot of these data sheets seemingly were written as if orcs hit on 5s and didn't have any way to like more modifiers or hit better or do anything different. So we got to keep that in mind when seeing these, especially these gun data sheets. Think in mind things like Meks, the +1 to hit, plunging fire, whatever detachment ability give you sus or ignores cover or whatever. Keep that in mind when we're looking at his data sheets. Mazrog, he's not that fundamentally different than he was before, except a little bit better. So big Champa, that's his little shark man. He is 3 attacks at strength 7, -2, 4 damage, and with anti-vehicle monster 3-up. So he hits quite hard. He used it on 4s. I don't know if the Squigosaur hits on 3s now too. Yes, they both hit on 3s, so they made both the Squigosaurs hit on 3s now. And he has one of the Hunter profiles. Is that what it's called? Hunter? Yes. So his main profile is 6 attacks at 8 or 9. It's 9 or 8, 2-2. So he also gained a pip AP, lost a baseline pip of damage, but he also gained cleave. So he's, in general, not as weirdly anemic as he was before, but his bigger profile, his hunter profile, he's the big beast hunter, is now strength 12, AP2, D6 +1 damage, which is really weird damage, especially for melee. Before, he was damage 3 or 4 against monster vehicles, or 4 or 5, so he became a little awkward, but he doesn't have the AP problem, and that has lethal hits. It doesn't have cleave because it only uses monsters and vehicles, and there's a very amount of low monsters and vehicle units that can get above 3 models, or above 5 models, like Kill Can's one of the few. Back to it, one last kill. He's got, he fights on death on a 2-up. Very simple, with the 11th edition ways of doing 5 on death, where he stays there in his zombie state, and when you fight him, he activates. He has reroll wounds against monsters and vehicles, which includes his big Champa mouth, So obviously he doesn't get like dev wounds anymore, seemingly. But, you know, with 3 attacks hit on 3s, anti-3 up with twin linked, very good, and especially his own profile. He's very likely to one-shot most vehicles in the game. And finally, what they both get is they get loan up if they're sitting next to any Beastsnagga unit that isn't a monster. So I can't remember off the top of my head if the Hunter rigs and such get the monster keyword, but it definitely works for the infantry and such. There we go. He is now very similar to like a Demon Prince. This is what they used to be 9th edition, maybe early 10th edition. They're now just solo beat stick. They're good at fighting. He's especially good at punching monsters, but I don't know how good in general he's going to be. Beast Boss and Squigosaur, though, is the lesser of the two, but more supporty to say. He's got the same top line stat profile: 3 ups, 3 OC, 3 saves, T9, 10 wounds, to feel no pain. He's got the same gun, except he also gets a little pistol too, for whatever reason. His Beast Choppa is slightly worse than Mozrog's Gut Ripper. Yes, I think it looks like Mozrog's strength 9. So it's the same profile except it's strength 6. He's also AP 2. And then the Hunter profile is just a slightly worse version of Mozrog. This is D6 instead of D6 plus 1. And the Squigosaur is also the same as Big Chompas. It's just damage 3 instead of 4. So very similar, except he has different rules and will probably be cheaper. Maybe you can give enhancements to him. So he has an aura of Beastsnaggas also in charge. That's very good, especially in 11th edition. It lets you set up nice heroics or just nice and go out and get them, especially with Wa. He has this ability that pretty much every war boss has, which is once per game, they can do something. This one is once per game, he can pick up Beastsnagga within 6. They're not battle shocked and they are riled up, which is to be wad. So as you'll see when we get later in this codex, the ability to be in Wa and make things in Wa is pretty much just whenever the fuck you want. Obviously, some of these are once per game, some of them are not, as we'll get into what's his face that we saw earlier. But it's very easy to keep things in Wa. And as a lot of these, like all the war boss abilities, like him on Battle Shock you, being on Battle Shocked is not really a thing. And since this one is done at the start or end of the move, you can pretty much just pick and set up when you want something to be in Wa or not. His last ability is he also has the long ability. So these guys are not like insane on the surface, as some day sheets we'll get to are, but they're very, very good supporting pieces that will probably be imperative for any of the Beastsnagga style lists people are trying to do. So let's get into, speaking of that, a normal Beast Boss. So normal Beast Boss, he has the same Shoota as he does now. Obviously, a lot of these, all the Shoota profiles gain lethal against non-monsters and vehicles. I don't really want to reiterate that 1,000 times. So when we're looking at a Shoota profile, think of it having lethal against non-monsters and vehicles, and also you can see it on screen. His melee weapon, though, is much improved, as a lot of the baseline Ork profiles are. So baseline, so he doesn't have 2 profiles to do weird dev wound stuff anymore. But what it is now, he has 1 weapon, which is 6 attack, has strength 12, -2, 2 damage. That's very good. It's a big power claw. And what it also has against sustained hits 2 against monsters and vehicles. So very much popping off if you have any ways, especially to get him reroll hits. And he has T6. I don't know if they were T6 now, but he is T6 with a 5 up save, 4 up save, 6 wounds. So pretty much similar to what they are now. Most of the top end parts of these models did not really change too much. So what he has is a 6 of Feel No Pain, as Beastsnaggas did before. I don't think a lot of them kept it, but there he is. And he has his abilities are keep hunting. Sorry, a lot of orc speak. Once per battle per army. In your phase, at the start of the end of phase, you can pick 1 Beastsnagga unit within 6. And what is the exact same ability as the Beastsnagga boss up here. This guy. Is there about, yep. So movement, pick a Beastsnagga within 6. So he has, like I said, what a lot of war bosses, if not all of them, have. Pick some within 6, on Battle Shock them, and wall them. And what he has, though, otherwise, is dodge this. This unit attack at +1 hit. So he hits on 1s, his unit hits on 2s. Very good. That's pretty much what they did before. His, I think, was different. I think he just had the dev wound thing. I'm not going to be so sure about that. But he hits really hard baseline and doesn't need to choose dev wounds to do it. He just hits really good. All right. Now we got, let's look at Zodgrod, the much nerfed man who doesn't do a lot. Sorry. Zodgrod's top line day sheet's the same. He doesn't have any feel no pains or anything. His gun is just a gun, 1 shot, pistol, anti-monster vehicle, 4 up with dev wounds. It does not going to do anything. 1 shot, that does 1 damage. Is a grab Zappa, 5 attack, 722. I'm pretty sure it's the same, maybe 1 more AP. And then his 1 ability is Super Runt. He leads Grots, unsurprisingly, as we're going to probably see. This unit, so Super Runts, this unit is always WAD, that's what Riled Up is, and their shivs are 1 attack at +1 weapon skill, +1 attack, +1 strength. So We're not into Grots yet, but right now they're 1 attack at weapon skill 5, strength 2. So probably this will make him 2 attacks at weapon skill 4 or weapon skill 3 at strength 3. So probably not very good. Not anything compared to Scout 9, Move 12, +1 to hit, +1 to wound, -1 to wound as it is now. Zodgrots, pretty much not the best thing in the world. All right, Wazdaka. Very similar to what he is now, but much fightier. You know, crazy thing to say. So what he lost is he lost his heal D3 ability. He doesn't heal D3 anymore, but he still has his pick command phase ability every turn. His top line profile is the exact same. T8, 3 up, 4 up, 10 wounds, 3 OC, 14-inch movement, and he is still a vehicle mounted. He still explodes for D3 damage. He still has deep strike, and he's still lone ups. So his fist gun is the exact same. It's 1 shot, hitting strength 10, -2, 3 damage at 12-inch range. His Psycho Gatler is slightly better. It's still the same 24-inch range, 12 attacks, hitting on 4s at 622, but now it gains lethal against non-monsters and vehicles, and maybe sustained. I think it has sustained before, but it has sustained hits against everything, lethal against non-monsters vehicles, and it always has assault. So what happens, though, otherwise, is his melee weapons. So his speeding bulk got slightly different. It's now 3 attacks at 511, but with cleave 1. So overall, worse on that end. If you anything, because there used to be 6 attacks at 511, so you fight anything that isn't 15 models, it does slightly less attacks. His fixed 6 range is pretty much the same, but his main weapon, the thing you care about, is now 6 attacks at 10-3 with lance as it is now, but they added cleave 2 onto it. So pretty much any unit that's a 5-man or more, he's going to do way more damage. And then his command phase abilities are very similar, but slightly different. So turbo engines, he can fall back, advance, and charge. Very simple. At all, whenever he wants. And since he moves 14 and he's mounted, very good. But he lost the ability to do this. Oh, this is the ability to let him do that. Okay, never mind. A shock attack engine. Your command phase, you unengage, you can put it in strat reserve. They forgot to re-give him the ability to do it on turn 1, so he cannot turn 1 deep strike with this ability anymore. Maybe they'll add it back. I don't know. But at least day 1 with no fact, he can't do it. And pulse jet. In move phase, with unit selected move, if this unit is unengaged, it can make a pulse jet move. This is what we saw earlier in my other video, but essentially makes them a super advance. It essentially gives them fly. It lets them advance and shoot. It's essentially a 14 plus D6 move. It might be, I don't know if it gives him 14 extra. I don't know if it's 828. We'll have to read that when we get to that section. But it gives a lot of just speed. It lets him go through walls. It lets him go really fast. It essentially gives him fly, stuff like that. And it makes it -1 to hit when he does it. So there's that. But you're not allowed to charge, and it doesn't count as an advance, so you can't advance to charge with that ability, for instance. So while I was talking, very similar to he is now. No auto advance 20 and charge anymore, thankfully. But his damage is much higher, and he's a little more goofy with things like the pulsar jet. So there's Wazdaka as we're getting through all the characters. Weird Boy. So we saw how the Psyker works in the last video. How it works is each Psyker can cast the level that they are that many spells. Just to say again, so each Psyker is a level, whether it be level 1, 2, 3, whatever it is. And they can cast abilities of addition to that level. So they can cast, say if it's a level 3 Psyker, they can cast 3 level 1s, a level 3, or a level 2 and a level 1. That makes sense. Simply, the Weird Boy is baseline a Psyker level 1. And so it means he can cast a single level 1 or infinite zeros if there's any zeros, stuff like that. No level 2s, no level 3s if you get them. And to break it down, there is no psychic abilities. They're only attachment based. There's one attachment here that gives you more psychic spells. So what you're going to be casting is these. And since these are both level 1s, he can cast one of them a turn. There you go. But Weird Boy has the same top end profile. Simple. He is now a support instead of a leader. Maybe he was a leader before. Yes, he was a leader before. Now he's a support, which means no solo Weird Boy if you ever wanted to do that. But means now you can lead him with the real characters. Like you can hang him out with not Gaskell, old Gaskell, but other characters we'll see later that are good and nice, like just war boss in general. So his gun is way better. Power Vomit. It is a Torrent Flamer. It's 12-inch range, 3 attacks, strength 5, AP 2, AP 3, 2 damage. That's a baseline good gun. But then it also has Psychic, which doesn't matter. It's only a downside here because you auto hit anyways, but also has Blast. So into a 5-man, it's like, say this is like a Space Marine squad. It's 4 hits at 5, 3, 2, and you're going to kill a bunch of them. And then his weapon is very similar to his now. It's 3 attacks at 8, 1, 2. So what he has, so this is how all the Orc Psychic spells work. they in their phase of whatever they happen in. This one's in the movement phase. This one is in the fighting phase. Sorry, my mouse is gone. There we go. So the second one's the fight phase. The first one's the movement phase. You roll dice, and on a seemingly it always succeeds, but on a 1 you get battle shocked. That's how they all work. It looks like they all succeed no matter what. Maybe that'll be wrong. This is new. So to jump, very similar to this now. So second power level 1, once per army per battle. So this one can only be done once per turn, no matter how many Wurrboys you have. This one can be done infinite amount of times. In your movement phase, if the unit is not battle shocked, it can make a second roll. On a d6, if you do, on a 1 you get battle shocked. But otherwise, no matter what, seemingly, you are placing some strategic reserve and you get deep strike. You also seemingly can't use this on turn 1 because it doesn't have a codifier saying you can. Next is Warpath. In the fight phase, when it's selected to fight, if it's not battle shocked, you can use the ability, roll d6, and it goes off. But on a 1, you get battle shocked. But on like I said, I don't see any codifiers to say it doesn't succeed. You get real 1s to wound, and your weapons become psychic, which in some ways is a downside. You know, if anyone has anti-psychic abilities, it affects every weapon in your data sheet. It also means you ignore modifiers to hit. So all your Ork boys will just hit on 2s. So very interesting how this seems like psychic is going to do. His gun is fairly nuts, as a lot of these flamers are. We're going to see. And both these abilities are very good, and it's very open-ended. You have the choice what you want to do. And if you play the Weird Boy attachment, we'll get to at the end, you get 2 or 3 more powers. So there's a lot of options to go. Next is Snickrot. Very similar to what he is now. So same top end profile. He might have had a 4 save before, but it's 5 up. I don't think so. He is still an infiltrating, leading, lone op stealth guy. His Slugga is the same as all Sluggas are. The new lethal hit ability. And his Mork's teeth are better. They're not going to completely whiff. So I think they had Twin Link before. But what they are is 6 attacks at 6/2/2, anti-infantry 2 up, and precision. So his biggest issue before, it was just AP 1. And though he lost Twin Link to gain anti-infantry 2 up, so into his 10 targets, he's probably going to do more damage. So he's probably better at actually stabbing people. You know, AP 1 was really bad. So his abilities, though. So his at the end of your opponent's fight phase, if this model's unit is hidden and unengaged, that is different. You can place in a shower reserve. So very similar to a lot of uppy downy effects. He didn't have this before. He just gave his unit +1 save. So that is better. And uppy downy every turn if you want it to. Obviously, he has to be hidden, so they have to be on terrain and don't shoot your commandos. And then next is Death from the Shadow. First battle round onwards. So that is codifying, I think, saying you can just do this on turn 1. I think. Does it say this? No. Okay. At the end of your opponent's move phase, if this unit is trap reserve, you can make an ingress move. So just you can at the end of your opponent's move. Oh, that's really interesting. It's like a free rapid ingress. That's what it does now. It's like the opposite of what it is now. Before, it was just he let him like to jump himself. He teleported your move phase. Now he essentially can turn 1 rapid ingress his squad, which is really cool. Boss Snickrot seems a lot better. Very interesting. I like his changes here, but nothing seems incredibly insane on him, and he has explosives if you cared about that. All right, next is the big boss. This guy got some... Oh, let's go with this guy. Banner Knob. This guy is not too much different. His OC became 3 instead of 6. I guess GW didn't like that funnily, hilariously OC. Though, to be fair, their data sheets are probably written at the same time. Though I think Codex team and the people who make the starter decks data sheets are probably different. All right, so he's got a normal Shoota. His custom Choppa, it got upgraded. Before, he had just 8 Choppa, so it was like 4 attacks of 4/1/1, maybe strength 5. Now it's 4 attacks of 5/2/2. So it's a Mastercraft Power Sword. That is a serviceably good weapon for a guy who's just a support dude. What he gives is not as interesting part. Before, he always gave you a 5 immo save, and if you were WAD, also +1 toughness. Now it just gives you +1 charge. Though it is a good ability, it's not a lot. He is a support, so he's probably going to be not expensive. And you can get a bunch of modifiers to charge, so it could be quite good. But he's not the biggest thing in the world. It is nice he actually hits hard, relatively, than he did before. Especially if you have like a war boss in your squad, hit on 2s and such. A big boss, this guy got a big change by adding support. His biggest issue was always that he was a leader. So the only time you ever really saw him was to cheese with triple leading with Gaz and such. Now you don't have to worry about that. What he does is he has the same slug as everyone else. He has the same top line stat line that he did before. He's essentially a knob with slightly more wounds. His big Choppa is now AP 2. And he lost Cleave. It was weird. He's one of the only Cleave guys in 11th edition. He lost Cleave, but he gained precision and +1 AP. So overall, that's probably better. Usually he had like 6 attacks, so he's not going to be whiffed by AP 1. And then just having precision baseline is quite nice, especially in 11th edition. You might just kill something, and what he gives now is +1 to hit. Before he gave you sustained, now he gives you +1 to hit. So he is that war boss style effect that we had in 11th edition, what war bosses used to do. But now you can combine him with a war boss, maybe with Nazrag if they can lead the same unit, stuff like that, which is very nice. So there we go. Lots of support for this army. No other keywords for him. Any more characters? We're at the name characters. No. Mega Boss. We're still in the character land. So Mega Boss in Mega Armor. This guy is quite silly. He's got the same big Shoota he got on top, shot by a grunt. He is now T7, as all the Mega characters are now. Same otherwise. Yep, everything looks the same. But his Ood Choppa is quite crazy. This is 5 attacks at strength 12, -2, 3 damage. And this is something we're going to see a lot of. Damage 3 in this codex. This is like the damage 3 codex. The orcs are just going to break the meta by just making it where elite infantry don't exist anymore because they're going to table them. So before, he was 4 attacks at 12, 2, 2, and then when you were wawed, +1 damage. So now he just has pretty much the effect of the old waw. He gets +1 attack and +1 damage passively with no downsides, and he also gets extra abilities. What he also has that I didn't get to is he has freaking cleave too. So if you fight like a 10-man, this guy is 9 attacks at 12, 2, 3. Imagine that to like Terminator style units or Chosen stuff. He just kills like the whole squad. And what he get is he's also a deboss, which is a rule we saw before, which is if you have one of these as your warlord on the battlefield, you get 1 CP every turn. You can make any character you want to Calgar. We have this guy who pretty much already has a better melee profile than Calgar used to have. His Calgar's attack is 6 attacks at like 8, 3, 3, twin linked. Like this problem, I don't know. This might actually be better than Calgar's melee weapon. But his abilities though is he does charge morals, crushing impact. When his unit ends a charge move, you can select an enemy unit that's engaged this unit. If you do, roll 1d6 for each model engaged with enemy unit on a 3-up, do 1 mortal wound. So if he's in a 6-man Mega Knob squad, you'll roll 7 dice if all 7 models are within 2, and each 3-up is a mortal wound. That's just nice extra damage, especially if you're fighting like a big target. And he also has intimidating motivation, which unsurprisingly is the same as the other guy's effect, except this guy is now just blocked to any orc unit. Any move phase at the start or end of your unit's move, select the orc unit within 6, and they are no longer battle shocked, and they become riled up. So as you can see, being in the WoW is the easiest thing in the world. So getting, remember what your orcs also have army-wide reroll advances just for free, in addition to the WoW effects. That's not part of the WoW. So getting advance of charge, getting your invul save, getting your salts, because that's what WoW does too. No effort in this army. So there you go. Big beefy man. All right, the big mech. This is the normal mech who usually leads like gun units or boy units. So I don't know what he's going to lead because we don't know. I'm thinking maybe these things can lead flash skits or so, but we don't know yet. He has now a 3-up save. Maybe he had that before. Yes, he did. It's weird, even though he's like naked. So same top line stat line. What he has is he gets one of these guns, whether it be 3 attacks at 9, 2, 3, hitting on 4s. As we can see, hitting on 4s is very common for shooty orcs now. Or he gets 3 attacks at 9, 2, D3 plus 3 with anti-fly 2 up. That's a strength 6. I think this gun's probably just better. The Tracta Blasta. All right, so what he also gets 1 melee weapon. You either get 3 attacks at strength 12, -3, 3 damage. Very good, even though low amount of attacks. Or you get a Power Claw, which is a normal Power Claw at 5 attacks, 10, 2, 2. Yeah, you're going to take the drill, even though it has 1 less attack. Even has less attacks, higher strength, higher AP, higher damage. All right, what he has, though, is he's a leader, not a support. Mordeka. So, as you see, a lot of the issues with orcs is maybe they'll hit on 5s, maybe they'll hit on 6s, maybe they'll get screwed by cover or -1 hits. No issue here. This unit's attacks have an orc cover at all times, and if they're riled up, sustained hits. That is a good buff, considering before these things used to do like real 1s to hit in the shooting phase. That's it. Other than that, he's got Shock Boosta. This is an interesting effect. In your move phase, when you use selected advance, you can use this ability, so you don't have to use it. If you do, auto advance 6. Holy shit, for an army that can advance a charge, especially whenever you want. This unit can move through all types of This unit can move through all types of model. Okay, it's missed an S. When this unit ends an advanced move, make a hazard roll for each model in the unit. So there's some downsides there, especially if you're running like a big 20-man. But auto advance 6 at will is OP. It is incredibly broken, especially potentially if you take like a hybrid unit like flash kits, which are good at melee. Flash kits whenever they want. Disembark 3, auto advance 12, 6 plus 6. So auto advance 12, shoot someone, take some damage, obviously. But as we'll get to, flash kits are 3 wounds, so they don't care about hazard as nearly as much. You like the average, you'll lose like maybe 2 guys. I don't even think on average you lose 2 guys. and just blast someone to death as they're doing now, but better. Auto advance next is broken. So anything that can do it while being able to do melee, anything that can do it that can do shooting, anything can do it and do both, best of all. Remember, he's a leader, so you can bring him with a big boss and still get the benefits of a melee buff, still make your unit hit on 2s, whatever both those can lead, and get this insane shooting buff. So yeah, all right, looking forward to that. All right, next is Big Mech and Mega Armor. So what he has baseline is he starts with a custom Shoota and a Power Claw. You can trade out. So you get a teleport blast or a custom force field. So custom force field gives you 4 save and shooting, as it does now. Or you get the teleport blaster, which is 6 shots, hitting on 4s at 9, 2, 3, blast 1. Low range. But that's quite a gun. Oh, that's a teleport blaster. I guess that makes sense, right? 6 shots. Because this is the custom force field. All right, so you either get you're gonna get a 4 save in shooting, which, as we'll get to, I don't think is very important, or you get an insane gun. And then he has a custom Shoota that can be just has a custom Shoota. Oh, you can turn the custom Shoota into another gun, so a custom Mega Blaster. So you can in total, though at different ranges, can have 9 shots at 9, 2, 3, and then one of which is blast. That's a lot of gun. It's just a lot of gun, especially since as we get to with the other necks, it's gonna be sustained hits that ignores cover too. But other than that, you can either have, you can trade your gun out for a kill slot. I don't think you're going to do that. I think you're perfectly content just taking a Power Claw. But you're just going to take that. None of these other guns matter too much because he can take the combi weapons, which gives a 3 to 4 shot Shoota profile, a 1-shot rocket profile, or a little flamer. Or it gets the custom Shoota, which is slightly different. Either has the 6-shot bolter profile or a slightly weird flamer. So this is what Mega Knobs get if you want them. Custom Shooters is a very interesting flamer. This is the one I kind of want to talk about. It is a point blank profile, which is a pistol thing, and torrent. So if you're in combat or close to it, each guy gets D3 plus 3 hits at strength 4. That's a meaty flamer, especially because it can be used in combat. And so what he does, as if you're leading this guy, since he's a leader instead of the big boss guy, the mega boss over here, which maybe is more likely, this guy is fixed stat armor once per battle per unit. In your command phase, this unit heals 3 wounds, which healing of this means you heal a model. So once per game, he reses a Mega Knob. Boom. And then he also gives them ignores cover and sustained hits. So I think what the best course of action to do is if you are taking any, like the gun Mega Knobs, which I think custom Shooters are interesting because we see this profile is very nice. You'll probably want the Big Mech and Mega Armor. But if you're just taking full melee kill slaws, you're going to want to take the War Boss. There you go. And that is that page of characters. I think we're getting close to the end of characters. All right, this is a little more blurry, so I'll try to explain to you guys. Shock Attack Gun, he's got the same top line profile. Top line profile did not change very much. He is still a leader. His Shock Attack Gun is now seemingly D3 plus 3 shots at strength 12, minus 4, D6 plus 1 damage. So it's still 60-inch range. So it changed from hitting on 5s. I think it's still 5s. It's hard to tell. I'm assuming it's still hitting on 5s. But it changed from D6 plus 1 shots to D3 plus 1. I think that's mostly better. It changed from strength 9 to strength 12. Still AP4. And from D6 to D6 plus 1 damage. So much better at shooting. And it also gained Blast. Oh, wait, I already had Blast. Just Blast 1 that distracted me. Because usually you just see Blast. All right. What he has is the same as the other mechs. Ignores cover and sustained hits when you're WOD. The first part's just amazingly good. The second part is pretty cracked. And what's kind of cute is, well, he doesn't have any other abilities, but while he is within 3 of any Ork infantry that is not himself, he gets blown up. So you can keep them. If you ever played 8th edition, you'll remember people putting 3 mechs with shock attack guns like on a building in front of a bunch of grots and just blasting people to death all game. You can kind of still do that, which is fun if you wanted to. And a 60-inch gun load up just sitting in your backfield blasting is kind of cute, considering he still has his Nordic cover sustained hits. We'll have to see what he can lead. If he can lead like flash hits or something, that's very interesting. His main unit of Ludas doesn't exist anymore. So, spoiler, Ludas and Burners are gone. So we'll have to see what he can lead. All right, the Big Mech Dakarig. This guy is very similar to what he is currently, except he gained the character keyword that was implied he was going to have. All right, so stage sheet is slightly different than this before. So the Blitzer Cannon used to be sustained hits. Now it is heavy. Now it is ignores cover, which is, in my opinion, just better than heavy. And lethal against non-monsters vehicle, but otherwise the same 8 attacks at 722, but it now hits on 4s with that profile. And his rocket launcher is the same top line profile of damage of 6 attacks, 10, strength 10, AP2, 3 damage, hitting on 5s, but again, ignores cover and lethal hits in comparison for heavy. So overall, much better there. Obviously, you're like, we lost sustain. Don't worry, if this unit's riled up, you have sustained hits. So even better. This profile gained sustained hits. This one just gained lethal hits, and they both gained lethal hits. And otherwise, he has the same ability as before. Yes, when fighting non-monsters vehicles, he has +6 attacks on his Blitzer cannon profile, and it also gained +1 to hit. So he is really good. He's also a character which, unless there's a really good enhancer for him, I don't think there will be. Probably a downside. Because he just gives up he gives up both bring it down because he's 11 wounds and assassinate. But overall, his shooting prowess is way better. He's obviously not a leader or anything. All right, next is the Mek. This guy is mostly just nerfed for multiple reasons. One, he gained the support ability, so you can't keep him solo. Let me scroll over. All right, so he has this little rocket gun. It's pretty much the same it is before. 3 shots at 823 pistol. It's slightly improved. It used to be D3 shots at last, so sometimes better. And it used to hit on 5s, and it was D6 damage instead of 3, so it does a little better. But it's not something you're like, oh my god, I'm taking neck, just take a bunch of pistols. And his melee weapon's pretty much the same, but he's now support. Like I said, no solo. So what he can do is give your units ignores cover, so which is already what big mechs do. He's nothing different there, and he doesn't have the sustained aspect. But if he's probably like 40 or 30 points, it's very interesting for some of the gun units. But he also does is he heals. He heals the same as he does before. In your phase, at the start and this unit's move, so better because it used to be at the end of the move phase. You pick a vehicle within 3 that's not aircraft or Titanic. That's important because you used to be able to hit both of them. And they heal D3 and they're +1 to hit. So there isn't a lot of good orc vehicles that would want this, except maybe the gun rig, the gun wagon. Because the best use of this was on the Stompa, on the Gork and Morkanauts, and even on the planes, the Dakajet specifically, the old one. So he lost that ability. But if he's cheap, he'll be good, potentially. All right, so that is the mech option. Oh, and we lost the last guy. So the Death Kill War Tribe. This guy is relatively weird. He's a little weird now. So he's pretty much the same top line stat line. T6, 9 wounds, 4 save 5, and most like movement 12, 3 OC. But he got changed in his weapon. So he doesn't have the Melta style Kilogent anymore. Now it just becomes a melee weapon. So he's got a 6-shot bolter as he did before. Still the assault, lethal hits, blow against non-monsters vehicle. And he can still shoot his claw at people. 1 shot hitting on a 5 at 722. Why is his claw hit on a 5? But Wazdaka hits on a 2. Weird. So his main weapon, the Snagga Claw, is now 5 attacks at 722 with cleave 2. Before it was 4 attacks at strength 10. So he gained 1 attack baseline. He lost 3 strength, but he gained cleave 2. But strength 10 is kind of an awkward profile. It's not really great at killing monsters. 4 attacks is pretty bad. So it's probably much better doing his job of punching people. And also he only hangs out with war bikes too. So if they have a good day, she ability might buff him. So his job of hitting medium things is better. And he also gained the Kilojet in melee, which is much better. He gets 1 extra attack at strength 10 -3 D6 +2 damage in melee, or maybe AP4. And then he also gets you get to pick one. You have to pick one, or he gets 3 attacks, seemingly with cleave at 511. So against a 5-man, this guy has 7 +4, 11 attacks. As we'll see, all the Warboss style units do a lot more damage. Here, we'll zoom into this. Sorry, it's hard to read, but to be unsurprisingly, this is now the same Warboss ability you've seen a bunch of times. Once per battle, you pick a spree Freeks within 6, and you unbattle shock them, and they become riled. Crazy. His other thing he gives is his unit +1 to advance. So he is very much different. He is more of a fighting guy. He was fully really a support guy. He lost his ability to auto-advance 6, so no, just auto-advance 18 and charge people. He gained +1 advance, which is cute. And he lost his +1 to hit. But I think this style ability, which is everywhere, to be fair, the WA abilities are much better than just a generic +1 to hit. So I think he's better. He's also a boss. To be fair, as you see, pretty much every war boss has this. So you're getting your +1 AP no matter what. You're pretty much just going to want to pick the war boss that is the one you expect to be surviving the most to be it. So you have more chance of keeping your CP battery. So this guy could be interesting just to hang out in the back solo, be your warlord if you don't take gas cool, and then come out late in the game when you've got enough CP. That is an option you could think about. All right, so before, where are we going to get to gas cool stuff? We already know what gas cool does, so we don't really need to look at him, but I would like to pull him up. All right, so Pain Boy, let's see how much different this guy is. So same top line stat line. So Urdy Syringe is not just a weird cheese mortal wound ability anymore, thankfully. Oh god. Urdy Syringe is 1 attack, hitting on a 3 at strength 2, d6 damage. It is anti-infantry 4-up, dev wounds against infantry, okay, only, so you can't like randomly cheese dev wounds at random people, and he's extra attacks. So it does pretty much the same thing, but it can only kill one model, it doesn't spill over, and he doesn't have precision or anything. And then his main weapon is the Doc's Tool, which is just a Power Claw. 3 attacks, hitting on a 3 at 10-2-2. And so what you'll see is pretty much every orc model hits higher baseline. This guy used to hit on 4s, he used to be strength 9. The war boss used to be strength 10, used to be damage 2, blah, blah. All these things just do way more damage baseline without the need of the wall, and getting the wall is easier. To be fair, the wall doesn't give you damage buff anymore. That is what maybe GW doesn't understand, is taking out the damage buff of a once per game ability or niche ability, because obviously if you're playing like the freebooter crew, you can get to Y easily, but taking away the damage of a once per game ability, but making it baseline and getting into that once per game ability really easy, maybe is maybe not too good for the health of the game. So what he has, instead of a 5-up Feel No Pain, which that was very annoying, to be fair, you're not doing it with Gasco anymore because he's not a leader, as we know, is your command phase unit heals 3 wounds. That is very good. So that is a whole knob if he leads knobs. That is 3 boys, etc., etc. That could be 2 boys and a 1 wound knob on the boy squad, stuff like that. Very good. Okay, catch that red bit. Once per battle per unit. When this unit uses its crude savagery right here, you can heal D3 plus, you can heal additional D3. So he heals 3 wounds every turn, and once per game D3, 3 plus D3, which is very good for the take an old style of sit on a points, AFK, and overload the field while holding objectives. Pain Boy really good, especially since they support. You can take him with other leaders. Gross. Pain Boss, the guy who's never been seen in the history of 40k, is same stat line, top line stat line as all the other guys. He just has the 6-up, and we'll save that Beastsnaggas stuff has. Still support. He has a Power Claw with anti-vehicle monster 4-up. And okay, he is a little different, which is nice. And you can command phase, select 1 friendly. Ooh. But it is once per battle per unit. Okay, he's different. This guy in your command phase, he heals his unit 3 wounds every turn. This guy is different. It's in your command phase, select 1 friendly Beastsnagga with the 3 units and heal 3 wounds. So he can heal a different unit in this Beastsnagga only, but only once per game. Oh god. Oh. Okay. Jesus. Already bionics. At target attacks that target this unit with strength greater than toughness, so like a transhuman effect, if you know what that means, have -1 to wound. So he gives the Beastsnagga boys he leads. That's obviously the only unit he can lead. I don't think he's gonna be able to lead Beastsnagga boys. A Beast High boys, what they're called. Squighog boys. Anything that is strength 6 or higher is now -1 to wound. That's a really strong effect. It's just really good, especially on a 20-man. Especially when you can make him in an invul save very essentially permanently. Being, as we've seen, being in the wall is not hard to say the least. Oh, he can! That's fun. Okay, never mind. That's really good. While this unit is attached to a mounted unit, as we know, there's only 1, so boom. Well, 1 Beastsnagga once. He loses the infantry tag, he gains mobile and mounted, and he has 4 attacks. So he essentially hops on a squig because he goes to 10-inch movement, he gains mobile, and becomes mounted. That's fun. And that's actually a good leader ability for squigs because they're T6 now instead of T7, making them very durable and annoying. This guy's good, I think, unless he's super expensive. Obviously, the caveats of any of these day sheets that are good are shit with points. So we're just going to imply that the points are probably fine, because otherwise everything in the book sucks. The end. So we're just gonna assume the points are fine. All right, next is Gretchen. So these guys are different. They lost their own turn, but he's a character now. All right, so Gretchen are the same stat line. They might have been a 7-up save. Yes, 7. They gained an armor save. Woo, they're now T6, T2 cultists. Still leadership 8. They're OC1 now because they're not battle line anymore. Very good. The OC2 grots that gain you CPA every turn, cringe and overpowered. So now they're not broken. So here's the shivs. Is that 3 attacks? I can't tell how much attacks that is. It's 1 or 3. I'm gonna assume it's 1, but I don't know. I'm gonna assume it's 1. So exactly what I thought. What's his face did. Zodgrod, so you give him 2 attacks, weapon skill 4, hit strength 3, pretty useless. So the Grot Blast is the same as before, 1 attack, hitting on a 4, strength 3, pistol, and the Shivs is 1 attack. I think it's 1 attack. All right, so Grots, their ability is the purpose of transports. Every 2 Grots counts as 1 model. So that means you can put 20 Grots in 1 truck, which is really funny. You can put 40-something Grots in a battle wagon. You want to do that, you can put 50 Grots in a stomp because I think it holds 25. I don't know, that was the 10th version at least. I think that's fun ability. Putting a full squad of Grots in 1 truck. That's really fun. I don't know. That's cute. At the end of your moon phase, you sticky eject is what they do. So they don't do CP anymore, but they gain the sticky ability that Boyz lost. Runt, he is now a character separate, but he still exists. The old Runt. He gained a wound. He's still T5. He still has a Slugga, and he still has his Runt tools. So he's a support, so you have to know solo Runtards. So that'll learn you. Once per battle per unit, while this unit become... Okay, when this unit becomes Battle Shock, if this unit contains 4 or more Gretchen models, roll D3. The number of Gretchen models is destroyed, and he becomes no Battle Shock. I don't think you ever take this guy unless he's literally like 20 points. Even if he is, because all it does is make Grots on Battle Shock sometimes. Yeah, he doesn't do anything. That's funny, though. He still exists. Yay. And Grots are still 10 to 20 man, so they are. Cool. Are we done? So we're done with characters right now. I'm going to see if I can find Gaskell. Yes, they were hiding. They're actually at the front. I skipped over him. So Gaskell, we already went over him, but to reiterate, he hits very hard, insanely hard. He has quite good shooting. He is now essentially a Primarch. He's T10, 2 up, 4 up, 16 wounds with a lone up. So he essentially is a Demon Primarch that sacrifices 1 toughness and gains lone up. That's a way better buff. Or you can think of him as an Imperial Primarch. Obviously, Space Marines are coming out right after this. Maybe Ghoulman will be incredibly OP. But you can think of him as an Imperial Primarch that gains a toughness and 6 extra wounds. All right, and what he does is, now that we have more things, if he stands next to another Ork Infantry, he gains level up, and then once per battle, in your movement phase, you can select any friendly Ork units on the battlefield equal to or less than the battle round. So if it's turn 1, select 1 unit. If it's turn 2, select 2 or 1 unit. Select 3, onward. So on turn 4, you can pick 4 units if you want, and they become riled up. So you can infinitely rile up the whole army. Obviously, you lost Makari to do that, but I think losing a cheesy 2-up and will save that dies to precision. I'd rather gain on turn 3, put half your army into Wagon at infinite range. And he also is a 6-inch aura of any Ork unit in melee +1 hit wound. So obviously crazy if he's at anything less than 400 points, pretty much. And the Nazdrag, actually the craziest data sheet in the game. Let's talk about this guy again, since it's been a while for Nazdrag. He is movement 5, T7, 2 up, 5 up, 8 wounds, 1 OC. We'll talk about his melee weapons first, because that's simple. His gun's a little confusing. So he's got both his weapons. They both are twin linked. Actually, sorry, they're both cleave 1 and 1 is twin linked. So the main weapon, the Moon Chua, I think it's this, is 5 attacks at strength 12, -2, 3 damage, cleave twin linked. So that is pretty much just Calgar, but fucking way better on steroids. And then his extra attack is gone. He gets a melee, 6 attacks at 5-1-1, cleave 1. So he's really good in melee. Oh, and don't worry, he's also really good in shooting. So he gets all 3 of these guns. It's not one of them. So his first gun is 6 attacks at strength 9, AP 2, 3 damage with hazardous. So he might take a damage. That's a really good gun. His second gun is a super Shoota. It is 4 to 6 attacks at strength 5, -1, 1 damage, 18-inch range with lethal hits against non-monsters. So he gets a super bolter. And his last attack is a super flamer. It has 3 attacks. It's a flamer profile. So 3 hits, a strength 5, AP 1 with blast 1 and torrent. So he gets all those at all times, combined with potentially the Meganobs he's leading. I assume he only leads Meganobs. Stuff like that. So really good melee, really good shooting, especially for character. Don't worry, really good support. First, he's the boss, so he'll give you CP. Gaskell is also the boss. Everyone's the boss, as we talked about. Pretty much every war boss is the boss. So no matter what war boss is your warlord, he's getting you a CP every turn. So just make sure it's a character you don't want to sacrifice in turn 2. So first is once per battle per army. In your move phase, at the start or end of this unit's move, you can select a friend the Ork within 6, no longer battle shocked, and is riled up. So the same as the other guys we saw. So very common ability. It's a very nuts ability. Now his drags no watts. This unit has deep strike and they ignores cover. Very good. So you know he's like a mech too. I think he is a mech. I think it's like a mech war boss. I don't think he has the mech keyword though. And then finally, Supreme Cunning. Once per battle, per phase. Once per phase per army. Once per phase? Oh, it's only move phase. Okay. In your opponent's move phase, when an enemy unit ends a move within 8 of this unit, if he's unengaged, you can make a normal move of D6, or if you're riled up, a normal move of 5. Which means, to be fair, you can be pretty much riled up every turn. Oh, is that once per battle? Once per battle per unit. Okay, his difference, that is, he was a unit every freaking turn. The other guys a lot of them are once per game. There you go. That's I was trying to see if his, I know this one was slightly better. So every turn he can wah unit. That means every turn he could potentially wah his unit, and they can auto react to 5 every turn, which in 11th edition is pretty crazy, if you, especially with hidden and such. So Nadrag, cracked. All right, and finally the normal wall boss, which got big somehow a glow up. You know, the best character in the army, pretty much. Don't worry, he's better. He's same top line stat line, T6, 4 up save, 5 up invul save, 6 wounds. He now starts with a custom chopper and a custom Shoota, and he can trade out the custom Shoota for any of these other guns. So let's talk about his weapons. So he gets one of these weapons. So either he gets a Power Claw, which is 6 attacks at strength 12, -2, 2 damage. Right now, this guy is, I think, 4 attacks. Yeah, 4 attacks at 10, 2, 2. So he gains +2 attacks baseline, +2 strength baseline. That's very good. But he also can take a custom chopper, which, to be fair, right now, the custom chopper is way better than the Power Claw. Because right now, the custom chopper is 6 attacks at cleave 1 at 822. So right now, I don't think it's much of a competition. But here, you gotta think about it, because we'll get to the sidebar in a second. But baseline is 6 attacks at 722, cleave 2. So much better at fighting small people than big people. This guy is strength 12, this guy is strength 7. The guns don't matter too much. We'll skip those, and we'll talk about them in a second, but we'll talk about his abilities. So the ammo Runt ability doesn't matter too much. That is just once per game. He can get +1 hit in the shooting phase. Knobs have this, Boyz have this, stuff like that. So once per game, he gets +1 hit in the shooting phase. Cute. Make him enough force. All right, Might is right. This is pretty much what his ability was in the WA. Now it's way better. So his unit makes a charge movement. They get +3 attacks and +2 strength. So before it was, while his unit is WA'd, he has +4 attacks. So now he gains +2 attacks baseline, +2 strength baseline, and now he gains, so equivalently he gains +1 more attack, and it's every time he charges instead of just WAs, and he is gaining +3 strength than his WA version. So he's better baseline, he needs better in the WA. And then he also has intimidating motivation, which is once per battle, the battle shock thing, someone within 6, as all the war bosses do. So when you charge, you either are 9 attacks at 9, 2, 2, cleave 2, or you're 9 attacks at 14, 2, 2. That is a hard choice what you're taking. Either way, he kills the shit out of anything. You're probably going to take the Power Claw just to chop the crap out of things, because your normal Boyz, your knobs, or whatever he's leading with is probably pretty good at killing the medium things. But those are some absolutely crazy melee profiles. All right, and then you get one of these guns. You either get a combi rocket, a combi Scorcher, or a better Scorcher you're not going to take. You're going to take one of these. So either do you want a one-shot rocket that might hit on a 4, or do you want the Scorcher? You're probably going to take the Scorcher. You know, you can take it, and the Boyz get a Scorcher, the knobs get a Scorcher, and have an interesting Overwatch threat. This is not too important. But melee, pretty nuts. All right, and obviously, like you said, you lose the +1 attack. But instead of that, you get an at-will wall ability, and you can gain the +1 attack back if you take a big boss, which I think is a much better trade-off. So war boss, pretty crazy. There is all the characters. I put them in one section, nice and easy, and we're going to go through the rest of the book now. And if you see in the video, but I will have timestamps and everything, make it nice and easy. All right, now that we have context for the characters, let's look. I'm going to try and spread these apart as much as possible. I'm going to do like Beastsnaggas, vehicles, stuff like that. So Beastsnaggas, these are quite different than they are now, but not too much different. They're very similar. So Beastsnaggas have the same top line stat line, except as we saw with Boyz, knobs have 3 freaking runes now. They lost their Feel No Pain, no 6 of Feel No Pain. And what they got is, let's look at their difference. So firstly, your guns don't take away, and you also can get 2 knobs. Your guns don't take away from your weapons now. So now you can take your thump guns to your heart content. So you can get 1 to 2 thump guns, so 3 to 6 shots at 602 anti-monster vehicle 4 up if you want. They don't have Shootas like Boyz because they're obviously an older kit. I guess that came out like last edition. Maybe they're 9th edition. They were 9th edition. So that's cute. And then they have a hunter profile like we saw otherwise. So each boy baseline is 3 attacks at 5-1-1. So they actually didn't get, they equivalently lost strength because boys and everything else went up strength and they were strength 5 baseline. So the main weapon is just worse. They're not just strengthy better boys now. But if you fight against vehicles and monsters, you become 6-2-1, which is really good. Because that means most vehicles and monsters are not T12 or higher. Most are T10, T11, T9. So that is a +1 to wound against them. And the AP especially is really good. That's quite a big increase. And the Knob Claw got a weird rework to, I guess, make it just kind of similar to a Power Claw. Before it was a weird profile. It was 4 attacks instead of 3. It was strength 7, AP 1, 2 damage. Essentially a big chop. But now it is a very normal profile. It's a 3 attack, 8-2-2 Power Claw. Remember, everything hits on 3s now. There's no weapon skill 4 Power Claws anymore. So another +1 hit for works there. But also gained anti-monster vehicle 4-up. So that is mostly better. No hunter profile, though, which is kind of weird, except for this. So their abilities, though, before they were reroll hits against vehicles and monsters. So obviously they gained a +1 strength and AP against them. So a little bit different. But what they also gained is a weird ability that I don't know is too good. When this unit ends a charge move, each enemy monster vehicle engaged with must take a battle shock at -1 or -2 if they have 13 models. -2 is a lot. That is a lot. That is a really interesting ability. Overall, they're probably worse than they are now. I think their leaders are better. I think the Beast Boss is just better in general. He's not just, before he was like a cheesy dev wound, silly boy, just trying cheese damage with his claw. But now he's just generically strong and has the wall ability. And also the Pain Boss is better too if you want to take him with them. You know, you can take a big 20 man with the transhuman effect, pretty much always be in wall, then heal for them only once, but heal 3 wounds. So that is interesting there. The Squigs, though, got a big rework that's probably going to make them stronger. Though a lot of changes here. Firstly, they lost the toughness. They're now T6 instead of T7. They have the same armor save as they had before. So they kept their invul save. Which actually, did they have an invul save before? Oh, they didn't. So that's what they did. So 9th edition Beastsnaggas stuff had a 6-up invul save. They traded that to a Feel No Pain this edition. I guess they went back to the invul save, I guess. It's definitely worse because of wall and such, how easy it is to get wall. Obviously, Feel No Pains are kind of toxic, especially in wounds like this, but they have the same amount of wounds, same OC, same leadership. But they lost their Feel No Pain. But what they got is, when this unit makes a charge move, +1 attack, +1 damage. And it is not just for the unit. To be fair, the only thing that can lead them, as we probably saw, is the Pain Boss. I don't think the War Boss guy can. But that would affect him. So we'd go to damage 3, Power Claw. It's very good for him. And Bomb Squigs was, look at them. They are the same as they were before, which is kind of crazy. In your move phase, when the unit ends a move, select one enemy unit, one visible enemy unit within 12, and roll d6 on a 3-up to take d3 mortal wounds. It works on think people engage, stuff like that. Very good. I'm surprised they kept it the cheesy way. But their melee profile got changed. So now the Sticka is 3 attacks at 5-1-2, which it is now anti-monster vehicle 4-up, but sadly lost Lance. So that is an oopsie for them. And their Squig Hog Jaws are the same as they are now. 3 attacks hitting on 4 at 6-1-2. And then the Big Choppa got the same Big Choppa profile as everything else. He never had Cleave before, so this guy's just way better. He gained Cleave 2, and he gained a Strength. Before it was Strength 6, it was 4 attacks, anti-monster vehicle 4-up, but no Lance. Didn't have Lance. So the Sergeant's way better that you're forced to take. The other guys are different. So these guys definitely seem meta-dependent, but stronger. Right now, they're mostly just used as like a weird durability skew. You play them. They were not played very commonly at all this whole edition. People just, they kept reducing the points and the points and points and points. And people really only played the Warhorde if you were a crazy person, the Beastsnagga attachment. Now, eventually, where we're at, 11th edition lets you do this, but they are played as like a durability skew. I have 5, Feel No Pain. I'm in the wall all the time, and I have a -1 to wound, including lower strength. But now, I think they're a real niche of a fast missile unit. And also, importantly, they gained mobile. And I don't know if they had grenades before, but they have explosive now, so they can use grenades, or the grenade style effect. But, you know, 3 attacks at 5-1-3. So really good into like a mid. So they're really good into like monsters and vehicles and like mid elite things. Just charge in, kill a bunch of chosen, like most of the squad, because it affects the model. So that it's total, each guy has 6 attacks at damage 3. So if you have an 8-man, that is in total 6. 6 times 6 is 36 plus 8, 42 plus 6 more. So like 48 attacks at damage 3. Most of which are anti-monster vehicle 4 up. That's quite good. They got the Grot attacks back. I don't think they had them. They just go back to the 9th edition version of them. Yeah, so the Grots didn't attack in 9th edition and 10th edition. So the Grots also attack again. Wait, also, oh, that's only in shooting. Okay, never mind. Why does it say Shiv? Weird. But they have a bunch of weapons that don't matter. You can still throw their stick if you want. I guess you're more inclined to shoot their bad weapons than you are infantry because they're mounted, so they don't get hidden. But they look quite good. You know, very good for doing their job. So let's look at the other two Beastsnaggas units real quick. All right, the Hunta and the Kill Rig. The Hunta Rig has the same top end stat line of 10-inch movement, T10, 3-up save, has the invul save, 16 wounds, OC 5. So there's that. It still has the damage thing, which at 6 wounds it becomes bracketed. Dynamite 6, Fire Deck 11. Boom. So, holy shit. So, what he got different. Big, relatively big difference. So before it was, for each model that's embarked on him, he gets +1 attack up to 4 for the Butcher Boys. So for this profile. Now it is, this unit's Butcher Boys weapons have +2 attack for each model embarked on this unit to a maximum of 22. So if you have 11 models, 1 squad, you get 26 attacks with your Butcher Boys at weapon hitting on 3s, anti-monster vehicle 4, 5, 1, 1. And also he gets to Crushing Impact, which is tank shock, for free. That's pretty good. He still holds 22 models, so you don't get 44 attacks, but that's pretty nuts. It essentially just lets the guys attack on top. I would say it's slightly less attacks because it would be +3 if it worked that way, but that's insane. So his horns, though, are a little different. And by that, I mean the exact same. Sorry. I thought they were strength 10 before. So yeah, 4 attacks, hitting on 4s, strength 8, AP 1, 3 damage. Weird profile, so is Lance. And then his saw blades are better because they gain cleave 1. So 6 attacks. This is what I got confused about. The saw blades are strength 10. So saw blades are just strictly better because now 6 attacks, 10, 2, 2. And it has cleave 1. What's also kind of funny, this doesn't apply too much 11th edition, but the saw blades was the main attack last edition because it was the one without extra attacks, and these both did. But now the Butcher Boys are the main attack. You get the Laba, which is a shitty little indirect weapon. 3 attacks with blast 2, strength 6, AP 0, 2 damage, indirect, so hitting on 6s most of the time. And then the Stick of Cannon, 1 attack, 5, 2, 3, anti-monster vehicle 2 up. It doesn't have the weird stuck ability that they had before. Yeah, because it like gave itself like +2 charge if it charged vehicles monsters, or maybe it was -2. Yeah, you could charge vehicles monster +2 if you hit them with that. So I got rid of. But this guy is really good at just like making a suicidal missile. You load him with some boys, you charge in, you attack someone with your 40 attacks with whatever buffs you give it, WA, detachment buffs, the kill rig, such like that. Very interesting. Hunter, it's always been not very good. So I think we're at the point where he's probably pretty good. Does he have mobile? No mobile, sadly. But he is still a monster, not a vehicle. Which is better because more things in the game are anti-vehicle than there is anti-monster, usually. He is a wagon, though, for any wagon attachment. All right, and then the last Beastsnaggas unit is the Kill Rig. So same top line stat line, so we need to get into it. This one has a 5 of Feel No Pain. Oh, they kept their 5 of Feel No Pains. And they actually increased them because they were 6 last edition. So these are much tankier, really tanky relative, even though they're only T10. But, so he's got the same Laba and Stick of Cannon as the other guy. But what he changed is the Whir Tower. Very differently and very interesting. So before it was D3 shots at strength 12 -3, D6 damage. Now it's hazardous, psychic, torrent. Now it's 1 shot at strength 12 -3, but flat 6. I think I would rather get that because it is torrent. You just automatically hit, hand him an AP3, say roll a 6, don't roll a save, take 6 damage. That seems really good, especially for overwatching like mid-tier vehicles or things that are almost wounded. That seems like, in my opinion, I'd rather have that because D6 damage is so random and the average is like 3.5 damage, so 3 to 4. I like that more. So he has the same exact melee profile as the Hunter Rig, so you don't need to talk about that. And his abilities are is he is a level 1 Psyker, and he holds 12 models instead of 22. Kind of weird to be 11 models. Okay, so what he gets is he can cast one of these abilities because he's a level 1 Psyker. He has Beast Scent, which is in your move phase. When a unit embarks this unit, it's selected to make a disembark unit. If this unit is not battle shocked, you can make a Psyker roll. On a 1, he becomes battle shocked. Other than that, it's, like I said, it seemingly is that it always goes off. That disembarking unit has, against monster vehicles, +1 to wound. So this sounds cooler than it is because it's only for Beastsnaggas, which becomes strength 6 against vehicles and monsters. So this only does anything against T12 or higher, which does exist, but it's not as cool as it sounds like, a little sadly. Other than that, I guess it might help the characters a little bit. It'll help the characters if you're leading them, so I'll say that. Other than that, and the little grabby claw. Wurrband. In the 5 phase, if the unit is selected to fight, if the unit is not battle shocked, make a psychic roll. On a 1, you can battle shocked. Otherwise, you have lethal hits and psychic. So you can become psychic melee, ignore modifiers, and become lethal hits. So the buffs are not too strong, and you can't use any of them on Hunter Rig, as I was kind of implying. I was saying that. I didn't actually think it could happen. But there you go. That is the Beastsnaggas stuff. Let's get to normal infantry now. All right, let's get the villains out of the way. I hope you guys liked 18 Meganobs 2 years ago, because they're back. And are they better? Yes. Holy shit, this unit's crazy. So T6, they have the same top line stat line, no T7, no 4 wounds, but T6, 5-inch movement, 2 up save, 3 wounds, no invul save baseline. What they get is they get a gun and a melee weapon, or 2 melee weapons. They first start with a custom Shoota, and we kind of just saw these already, but we're going to reiterate them. So either you start with a custom Shoota, which has 4 to 6 shots at 401, lethal hits against the things, or you get a super cool weird flamer. So 6-inch range, so close or in combat, because it's close quarters, which means pistol. That's torrent at D3 plus 3 shots of 401. So say if you're led by a mech, and you know, one issue orcs have is falling back and doing anything, which in this codex still is not the most common thing in the world, as we haven't really seen any of it on the day sheets. But getting stuck in combat. But a Meganob squad, if you take it with the guns, and you give them a mech, is, what is that? 7d3 plus 21 auto hits at 401. That's quite interesting, especially because it's a pistol. So it can get you out of combat with no effort. Other than that, you get the combi weapon, which gets a rocket launcher. Boom. So you get a rocket launcher profile. You get a flamer profile, which is just a heavy flamer. This is also very interesting if you want to try and do a flamer squad, especially if you take Nazdrag to give it Deep Strike, or you take there's the Meganob attachment that gives them Deep Strike, or you get a flamer profile, which is 3 hits at 501 with Blast Torrent. So say you fight like a 10-man cultist, and you take a mech with this squad, that is 30 hits at 501 automatically, nothing to worry about. Overwatch, you got it. Nothing, boom, easy peasy. Let alone it's a 15-man or 20-man. Imagine to another orc squad. If another orc squad, each guy is 7 hits, so that is 49 hits. Wounding on 4s, that's terrifying. And then it's a triple gun, because you don't have to pick the guns anymore. You just get all the profiles, no matter what. Otherwise, the one you'll probably never use, to be fair, is the Shoota profile. Or if you don't want either of those, you get a 3-shot gun, 2 to 3 shot gun with the lethal hits at 401. So both of these are very interesting. What you're going to do, I think if you're trying to do a deep strike play, you want combi weapons. Boom. If you're trying to do like a generic fighty unit, especially maybe if you take Meks for sustained hits and ignore cover, the custom Shoota is very interesting. But in general, you're probably going to take twin kill saws for holistic use. So what they have is arrogance and vulnerability. Attacks that target this unit have -1 AP. The unit has my AOC passively. That's really strong. It's really good. Who needs an invul save when you need to be AP4 to put them on to make the invul save worth it anyways? Anything AP3 doesn't change their save. They roll 4. AP2, worse, they roll an invul save. AP1, worse. AP0, obviously. And as we know in the game, most things are AP2, maybe AP3, or AP1. So that's really freaking strong. And next to that is in the 5 phase, if you are WAD, they have +1 hit. So they will either hit on a 2 or a 3. And what the weapons are is you get either 3 attacks at 10 to 3 hitting on 4s, or 3 attacks at 10-2-2 hitting on 3s, or you can take twin kill saws and get twin linked. So I think most often than not, you're going to take twin kill saws and just beat the crap out of people with your invincible mega knobs that can heal if you take a mech, and are twin linked, and their damage 3 is like, we see a lot of damage 3 in this codex. Holy shit. GW said that wasn't allowed in 10th edition, but 11th edition, they changing their minds while playing the invincibility play of, I'm just going to stand in my take and hold, stand on these objectives. You can't kill me anyways because I'm hidden. I now have AOC passively. I can maybe heal some models. Other rules. Or I think the other way you're probably going to take them is maybe with custom shooters. I think will be the other popular way, just to be able to duke people and never be locked in combat. Because like a decent durable unit like 10 witches can lock this unit in combat because it is just like 18 attacks hitting on a 3 or 4. But that would solve the issue, say the least. So mega knobs, fairly crazy. Commandos. This is another unit that can now just take weapons, and they don't sacrifice their weapons. Their melee weapons for it. That's what you had to do before. You still have to take a 10-man. But you can now take your burn and your rocket launchers and your funny little custom shooters without losing your melee weapons. So you're just going to take them even if you don't shoot them. So otherwise, it's the same loadout though. You get 1 burner, you get 1 rocket launcher, you get 1 breacher lamb, you get 2 custom shooters, and your knob gets his weapon of choice. But they got the same increase profile of knobs with 3 wounds. Otherwise, everyone else is the same top line profile. So their abilities, anything different. They still have infiltrate and stealth. Same thing. Found them. This is an interesting ability, especially on a baseline profile. In your move phase, you can select 1 enemy unit within 12, and they have +3 detection range. Just whenever you want. Every turn you can do that. It's pretty cute, especially if you take Snickrot to be able to do it in Deep Strike, be able to do it on turn 1, make people have 18-inch or 15-inch hidden, and maybe they did not expect to have 18-inch hidden that turn. Tactical Know It. This is in the battle steps. You can split this unit into 2 5-mans. If you do, select which units have the bomb swig and which units have the found 'em ability. Oh, okay, that's interesting. So both units don't get this because it says that the commando token, your little ninja guy, has to do it. All right. Nowhere to hide. This unit targets a hidden unit, have +1 to hit. So if you target someone hidden, you hit on 2s in melee, and you hit on 4s in shooting. So that is actually a decent ability because they didn't have any damage increase. They were kind of shitty boys before. And the bomb squig is the same we already saw. We already know what bomb squigs. They're the exact same as they are in 11th edition. So what you get here is pretty much the same guns we already saw. A Burna is a 3-shot hitting flamer that has blast and is strength 4 AP01. Combi weapons we've already seen is a 4 to 6 attack bolter at 18-inch range. A rocket launcher is the same as a 2-shot strength 10 AP2 3 damage weapon with a shitty little blast profile if you're fighting against cultists at strength 4. And then a Slugga is a lethal hits pistol we've seen all the time. They have the same choppa as Boyz, so 3 attack strength 5. He has the same power claw as Boyz, 3 attack strength 10. His breacher ram is actually the same old profile, so it's only 2 attacks hitting on a 4 at strength 10, at strength 8 AP2 2 damage. You're still going to take it even though it's kind of shitty. And the Big Choppa is the much improved Big Choppa profile, which I think is a fairly crazy weapon. 4 attacks, 712, cleave 2. If you get any unit with a max amount of Big Choppas, like Knobs can get a good amount of them, they're going to chop, to say the least. So Commandos, quite good. And let's talk about Storm Boys before I talk about the villainous people. Do they guys have any keywords that matter? No, just smoke and explosives. Storm Boys are still movement 12, still T5, 5 save, 1 or 3 wounds as they are now. They still have Deep Strike. Their melee weapons are the exact same, 3 attacks of 5-1-1. He can't get a big chop. He used to be a big chop over here. So your sergeant either has 4 attacks at 5-2-2, or he's got 3 attacks at 10-2-2. You're going to take the power claw. 1 attack is not worth half strength, usually. But what they have, and maybe actually with this, is rocket charge. So before they could advance a charge whenever they wanted, that's what they did. Now it is when this unit is selected to fight in the charge, if you made a charge move suit, you can use this ability. If you do, you'll +1 attack and strength, but you also gain hazards, which whatever. So yeah, a normal Storm Boy becomes 4 attacks at 6-1-1. The Sergeant becomes either 4 attacks at 11-2-2 or 5 attacks at 6-2-2. But they actually kill people now. They're actually a nice little suicidal damage piece. Very good skirmisher, to say the least. I could, especially since how easy it is to get a wall. You take your wall, even like a 10-man is interesting to like suicide early on. You take your little your war boss and you yell at them, say go wah, and then you rush down the board with your essentially like 36 attacks at 611 and 4 attacks at 1122 and kill something. That is very interesting. But I want to bring these guys up before we talk about the villains of the book, the freaking Flash Kits. You know, Flash Kits were popular. What if they were way better? I know it sounds crazy, but GW found a way. So, top lane stat line is the same until you get to this number. They now have 30 wounds instead of 2. Woo. And their guns are now a variable profile. Instead of just one weird heavy bolter, 3 to 4 attacks at 612, like sustained some once per game lethal hits, 24-inch range, and now it is whatever the fuck you want. So, firstly, the first profile is a Melt-A-Gun. 1 shot, strength 9, AP 3, D6 plus 2, Melta 2, and hazardous. A much better Melt-A-Gun. Or they have essentially a better version of what they had before. Because their old gun was 3 attacks at 612 heavy sustained hits. With if they shot the closest target, they got +1 attack. Now this normal profile is 3 attacks, 612, hitting on 4s. Also their guns hit on 5s before. Now they just hit on 4s. So they were just strictly better because it was 5s with heavy. Now it's just always 4s. But this is the same amount of stat line, but now they just gained lethal against non-monsters and vehicles. And as another ability we'll get to over here, also a good damage increase. So that is a very good, their normal profile, which is just better. Or they got a super plasma shot, which also has longer range of plasma. Or they get a 36-inch range shot at strength 8, AP 2, 2 damage, 2 shots with hazardous. Or so they also get a very good Space Marine killing profile if they don't want to use this one. Well, what their ability is now, instead of once per game lethal hits, and it's weird they don't get an ammo runt ability considering they always had them before. Or if they shot the closest target +1 shot with their little heavy bolter profile. They now, in the shooting phase, if any of the following apply this unit's range attack to +1 AP, so they also wrote this correctly. If they are on objective or they're shooting someone on objective, they get +1 AP. So their Belta gun goes to AP 4, their plasma gun goes to AP 3, and their main profile goes to AP 2. And they still have their pretty good melee weapon, 4 attacks, 511. So they each gained a wound. Their guns just became way better. You can easily still transport them. And importantly, since pretty much every transport has firing deck, you can now shoot these profiles out of a car and not just hit them 5s or 6s all the time because I hit them 4s baseline, which is really, really, really good. So flash kits, you know, maybe if you didn't have your 30 flash kits before, maybe you should get your 30 flash kits now. So yeah, as we see, the 3 wound models are really freaking good in this army. Mega Knobs, Knobs, Flash Kits. Alrighty. And like even this, like if you're on a 3 wound menace, you just take your truck, you run it at them, disembark your Flash Kits in front of them, and shoot them with 10 BS4 super Melta-Guns that one-shot them because it's D6 plus D3 plus 4 damage if you're within 6 inches. Blah! Die. That's spooky. I don't know if these guys can be led. I hope not. I'll be honest. They usually aren't being able to be led. I got to read the detachment that lets them take the hat because that's GW implied that they can be led that way, but usually they're wrong. But we got to wait to the MFM to know what can lead them. But that part is spooky. All right, let's continue on. All right, the Breaker Boys. We kind of got a hint of what these did with the Tank Busters earlier. So Breaker Boys have the same stat line they did before, except the Sergeant has 3 wounds. Boom. Let's look at their abilities because it's nice and quick. They have Bomb Swigs twice per game, and they now have +1 to charge. I think they were like reroll charges before. Yeah. Which, considering unit has a reroll advances baseline, I think this is overall better. It means you can't fail charges. You know, technically, you know, you could fail. You can go for double once, twice in a row. The chance of that happening is very low, but it could happen. This means they can never technically fail a min charge, which is nice. They are still locked at 6 models. You can't take more. And they start with every guy has a smash hammer, and the knob has a choppa, smash hammer, and rocket pistol. And he can switch them out. He can replace their smash hammer for another rocket pistol. So if you just want a choppa and dual pistols for no reason, don't do that. Or he can replace his weapons for better weapons. So rocket pistol is 1 shot hitting a 5, 10, 2, 3. It's a rocket. So don't take the Nugget Busters. It's 4 attacks. Hitting on 3s, a 5-2-2 anti-monster vehicle, 4 up. Kind of bad. So you're going to take the tank hammer on him, which is pretty good. 3 attacks, 4, weapon skill 4, strength 12, AP 2, 3 damage, always with devastating wounds. And hazardous can only do 1 damage, and he's the only guy with it, so he needs to fail 3 hazard tests in a row to even kill himself. So there's almost no downside for this. But the smash hammers now are different. This unit was really weird before. was a very feast or famine unit. It was 2 attacks, hitting on 3s at strength 6, AP2, 3 damage with anti-monster vehicle 3 up, I think. Maybe 4 up. So, low amount of attacks. They hit on 3s. They really wanted the Wurrband. They were really interesting with the Wurrband to go punch a vehicle. But that was it. And they were like initially interesting against like weird chosen style units, but they were like very overcost stuff. But now they're more defined. So they are fine at fighting like Space Marine elite style units. 3 attack is 7/2/2 baseline. Strength 7 is nice baseline. Strength 6 is a little awkward. 7 hits you in nice breakpoints. A lot of things are T6 that are elite style units, but they also have a much better anti-monster vehicle profile. Because you fight against a vehicle monster, it's now just strength 12, damage 3. So they definitely won't just rely on needing to roll 4s and 3s to one-shot a vehicle. They will just kill the fuck out of it because they're strength 12, 3 damage baseline with 3 attacks. That is 18 attacks of damage 3, some of which are dev wounds. So they're definitely less weird unit, and they can compete with small people. So they still just get like Mastercrafted Power Swords and melee. So they're not just dreadful. And whatever can lead them to maybe make them better might be cool. It's like a big boss. This would be a very interesting, big boss to make him hit on 2s, give him a nice weapon, stuff like that. Be a cool fighty guy. We'll do the mech guns later with the vehicles. And then tank busters, which we already went over in the other video, but very quickly. They are essentially the gun version of those guys. Instead of in melee, they get them in shooting, which to be fair, their shooting profile is mostly better than melee profile. And that's on 4's baseline at 2 attacks, strength 10, 3 damage. Or if you fight against a vehicle monster, it's 3 attacks at strength 12. And their main ability is when they shoot someone, they have to take a battle shock at -1. And then once per game, if they fight a vehicle or monster, they can get +1 AP in lethal hits. So you can imagine this as AP3 lethal hits. It's very good. And once again, just like Flash gets, all the Ork stuff hits on 4's baseline for some ungodly reason. Shooting this stuff out of a car is really good because you don't lose, because tank busters were good at shooting vehicles, but because they got +1 hit and wound on the field, they were kind of shitty outside the field. But strength 12 baseline, hitting on 4's baseline, means, a truck can have, if a truck can hold 2, which I think truck holds 12, 30 shots at 12, 2, 3 hitting on 4s. That's spooky. So there's the tank busters. All right, here's the Boyz. We don't need to harp on the Boyz again. When they charge, get lethal hits. They can action in combat. Sergeant has 3 wounds, and they got the stat line increase. We already made a video about this. Same thing with the Stompa. We'll talk about these at the end really quick, and then the knobs. So let's reiterate on the knobs and compare them now until we know what Flash gets, Breaker Boys, and Mega Knobs do. All right, so when they charge, they can move through models. That is a decent ability, not crazy. And then they get weapons. And once again, they get ammo runs, but they get weapons. So each guy gets a custom Krumpa. So each guy gets a Power Fist, and then they can trade them out for these if you want these guns. So knowing Mega Knobs, and Breaker Boys, and Tank Busters, those have very, well, besides Mega Knobs, which are broken, have very defined roles. Mega Knobs are the tanky units that do 3 damage in melee. Breaker Boys are the damage 3 in melee against vehicles monsters because they are better than Mega Knobs. They're strength 12 instead of just needing to be twin linked. And they have some dev wounds, and they hit on 3s. And Tank Busters are the gun versions of them. Flash Kits are just a holistic unit. They're good against everything. Well, these guys are the mid-tier fighters. They like fighting with their big choppas and the custom Krumpas into like mid-tier Space Marines, like Plague Marine style units. And that's what they're good at. Or if you're fighting in a meta of low-tier vehicles, I can expect 5 knobs to go punch a land speeder to death quite easily. So knobs definitely feel like, though they're 3 wounds now, the cheaper side of that's a very nice suicidal bomb. Because like Mega Knobs are going to be higher poison investment, obviously, being 2 up save and such. And harder to transport. And these guys can still go in a truck. They're very similar to Chosen. They're probably going to fill the role of something like Chosen. Obviously, they're not just fall back, shoot, advance charge all the time like Chosen, but advance charge, very easy to get to, as we see with this book. So they can easily advance a charge. So they definitely feel like the unit that this is the missile style unit besides the Breaker Boys, which I think are better missiling into vehicles. This is the missile unit that I run into my army. I might double lead them with like a war boss and a big boss and just go big dick and kill everything that isn't just the tankiest tank vehicles. This definitely feels like a pointed unit. Like, in my opinion, anything that's like lower, 25 and lower points, as long as Mega Knobs are hopefully 40 or more points, though I doubt they will be. Makes these feel good because they're also a hybrid unit that can have good shooting. Each guy gets a gun. So, getting, some nice big scorches with your big choppas and then a bunch of power fists is really cool, as I talked about in my video. But this definitely feels like one of the most points dependent unit because, like, your massive. Also, Breaker Boys are only 2 wounds, so never mind. So these have more wounds. They are slightly more durable. It actually matters a lot. 3 wounds is a lot more than 2 when it comes to breakpoints. But they definitely feel like one of the more points dependent unit that's either incredibly good or just like, why would you take this unit? So we'll see. So that is all the infantry. Let's get into generic vehicles, then we'll do like speed freaky stuff after that. All right, just came back from getting a drink in my cool Nuka-Cola bottle. Ooh. So mech guns, since we skipped over this. So mech guns are way different than they are before. So you still have to pick a gun, unlike everything else. That just gets every gun and you just pick a profile. So a little different there. So let's talk about the abilities first, because that might be what's important. So there's still a unit that can be led that gets 1 to 3 models, and some of the enhancements and leader abilities imply they're still being able to be led by mechs. So that would help them a lot if you can give them ignores cover and or sustained, but I don't know about that one for sure, because we don't know who can lead yet, which is kind of annoying. All right, Madcap artillery. In shooting phase, with unit slot, if all range weapon equipped by each mech gun model in the unit has the same gun, selects 1 enemy hit by those attacks, then you get this ability. First, if you take bubble chukkas, so you're very de-incentivized to split your guns. Not you can split fire, but split the guns you take. So bubble chukka. This unit is wobbled. While wobbled unit is attacking, the targets have the benefit of cover. This is a very funny and interesting ability. So you target enemy and they get wobbled. And essentially, they shoot cover at the people. So they shoot someone and give them cover, which is really funny and very kind of interesting. To be fair, the bubble chuck is kind of bad, but that's fun. I like that. Custom Mega Cannon. This unit is zapped. While unit is zapped, has -1 leadership. Whatever. Smash gun. Once this unit is smashed. While unit is smashed, that unit has -2 movement. If any of you guys played 8th edition, you knew how freaking infuriating this gun was. It was like D3 auto hits that wounded against your toughness. It was 2d6, and if it tied or beat your toughness, it auto wounded you. Maybe they didn't auto it, but they didn't have to wound. But the best part is I got rid of effects. So like transhuman didn't work, -1 to wound didn't work. It was just a random dice roll. This was 8th into 9th edition. Cork's got like a mid to later codex. All right, tractor cannon. This unit. So if you take the tractor cannon, and also this ability is really good. -2 movement, quite good. This unit is grounded. When unit is grounded, it cannot take to the skies. That is very funny. I don't know how good that is because take to the sky is not that useful of ability. It's like fine, but it's funny. I like that. So none of those abilities are that important. I think the wobble is kind of fun, but the smasher gun definitely has the best ability. So let's look at the guns. Bubble Shotgun, 48 range, 40. Remember, you can take 1 to 3 of these. Also, I think you could take 9 mans in 8th edition. So 8. These all hit on 4s because they're mechs, or they're little grots. 8 shots, strength 3, AP 3, 1 damage, lethal hits, and blast 3. So if you're in like a guard menace, you take a bunch of these. Say a 20 man gives you 12 extra shots. Yeah, each guy has 20 shots against a 20 man. That's funny. I like that. All right, custom mega plan. This is the generic gun. D3 plus 1 shot at strength 12, AP2, 4 damage, blast 1, and a hazards that I guess they're 6 wounds. I guess they're infantry vehicles, so it matters. Hey, they move 5. They used to move 3. That's an improvement. Place 5 grot tokens next to each mech gun, removing 1 each time its mech gun model loses a wound. Okay, so does I was reading this ability. So yeah, the tokens still don't do anything. Whatever. That's a really good gun. Jesus Christ. So the average of 3 shots, strength 12, AP2, 4 damage, hitting on 4s at blast 1. Maybe can ignore cover, maybe has sustained hits if mechs can lead them. Or super mechs, whatever the heck they're called. Smasher gun. 4 shots at strength. Oops, 1 second. 4 shots at strength 7, AP3, 3 damage, blast 1. That's interesting. It is flat 4. It's hard picking between those 2 guns because they're. I don't know which one's better. In my mind, I think the custom Mega Blast is better, but I can go either way. even though the custom Mega Blaster ability is kind of useless. And Tractor Cannon. All right. Anti-Fly 2, 2 shots, Strength 6, AP2, D3 plus 3. That one can be the best one. Obviously does the most damage. It has a really good ability. So if you're, depending on the meta, and its ability is useless. But depending on the meta, if you have any, like, if Annoying Fly becomes meta, this is a quite good gun, to say the least. All right, so that is the mech guns. Quite interesting, quite silly as they usually are. But I don't, definitely, it's just like Meks is, Knobs is very points dependent. They can be very good depending if they're cheap enough or just bad, which is a normal unit, but nothing is day sheet just screams this is great or this is bad. This is like, this is playable if it's pointed. All right, the Humble Trunk, which I think is now officially the most expensive model in 40k. Because trucks are usually like 55 to 65 points depending on the meta GW wants them to be in, and they're $85 MSRP. So unless this is the most expensive truck in the world and costs 100 points, it's probably the most expensive model of the game now, which is hilarious because it's a truck. They used to be all the cheapest. All right, trucks have the same top line profile, 12-inch movement, T8, 4-up save, 6-up invul save, 10 wounds, 2 OC. Nothing crazy there. Still firing deck 12, still deadly demise. What you get is one of these guns. Either you get a dual big Shoota, which is 6 shots, 501, and rapid fire 4. So 6 to 10 shots with the weird lethal hits of 501, or just a rocket launcher. You're just going to take the rocket launcher, I guess. Neither of these are that crazy, even though they look really cool. It's hard to see, but they do really look really cool. And you get one of these, you get a Spiked Ram in one of these melee weapons. So Spiked Ram is a slightly better car melee weapon. It's a 3 attacks at 601, hitting on 3s, but with cleave 1. So slightly better. And you either get 2 attacks at 10-2-2, hitting on 3s, or you get 2 attacks at 6-1-2, cleave 1. I don't think cleave's worth it. You lose 4 strength and AP. Or what some people did back in the day, you don't equip them with either weapon, so your model is smaller. It says can be, it doesn't have to be, so it depends if the instructions tell you have to be. But since it's can, it looks like you don't have to. I don't know. It was actually a big thing, because trucks can take like a wrecking ball, and it made your model like way wider. It's a lot of people just would not equip it, so you were smaller. Same thing here, like you see how big and fat that is. So that is a truck. And its ability is piling out. I assumed and thankfully was wrong that this was going to get the Land Raider ability. Thankfully, it doesn't. That would be terrifying. So in your move phase, when an enemy ends up move within 8 of this, and also, this is, I don't like this, by the way. I want to talk about why. In your opponent's move phase, when an enemy ends up move within 8, units embarked with this model can make a disembark move using the rapid disembark, which is the disembark move you do after deep striking or moving. Importantly, this thing has the restriction of you cannot charge. You can't heroic intervene the turn you do. I think a lot of people are unknowing. I guess you don't unknowingly cheat, but get that wrong. But rapid disembark restricts you from charging. So, not the greatest thing in the world. But that is the same ability that the World Eater's Rhino has. But what's important, it says when an enemy ends a move. So this doesn't say normal move, fallback, blah, 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 that most reactive move style abilities do in 10th edition. 11th edition, they're now just shortening everything to move, which is annoying because for some reason they made everything a move in 11th edition. A deep strike is a ingress move. A disembark is a disembark move. So those abilities are triggered off abilities that say just a move. So like say most reactive move in 11th edition, say after your opponent ends a normal move, fallback, charge move, whatever, within 8, do X. Those style abilities don't trigger on ingresses or deep strikes or transports. But these style abilities, the new worded ones, do. A good way to get around reactive moves and stuff like that is a transport. You would move and disembark, and that disembark will not actually trigger those abilities. Now it will, which I don't like at all. All right, but otherwise the transport's the same. It holds 12 models. It cannot transport Gazcool and jump pack models, and each mega model takes 2. So you can still put a full squad mega knobs if you want inside. Why does it hold 2? What the hell? That just annoys me because like Land Raiders hold 12 and a Terminator only still takes up 2 spots. So you can't even put a full Terminator squad in here. But you can put a full mega knob squad in here. Stupid. There you go. Very similar to the old one. The ability is better because it traded a useless ability for a better ability, unless it goes up ungodly increase in price, and it didn't really change too often. All right, the battle wagon got split up into a gun wagon, which we used to have, and a normal battle wagon. So my nose is a little itchy. So battle wagon is now T11 instead of T12. Oh, it was never T11, T12. Sorry, I'm thinking of 10th edition, like the 9th edition when it was like T8. So it actually gained a toughness. It's now T11 instead of T10. Is there any other creases? No, never mind. Yeah, it could be T12. This thing, the art case, could make it T12. Never mind. So yeah, it's not T12 anymore. But that means you don't have to like give up firing deck or anything or whatever. It's still 16 wounds at 3 up save and 6 up info save. So it moves 10, so C5. So it doesn't take guns anymore because that's the other guy. So you just get your 4 big Shootas. Boom. And you get a Wrecking Claw, a Grabbing Claw, and your Clutching Bulk, which is the same as your wheels before. So in melee, it has 6 attacks, 8/2/2 with cleave 1. Quite good. Which it lost its strength and gained AP, but also gained cleave. And importantly, since this isn't the Def Roller, you don't need the Def Roller, which means you can make your model smaller. That's good. Obviously, you can't disembark from the Def Roller as you can now, but I would rather be smaller, I'll be honest. And then you, if you want to take these, make your model bigger, you get either 2 attacks at 10/2/2, and or, you can take both. 1 extra attack at 10 and 0 D6, both cleave 2. But what he has is -1 damage. This is a beefy ass boy. Holy crap. It used to just be AOC, which with it just being a 3 up save, now support -1 damage, it's really good. And it still holds 22 models. Gazco can still go in it. He's still only 4 models. And Mega Armored only take up 2. So you put 11 Mega Armored squads inside if you want. You can put 22 Ork Boys inside. So you can put a 7-man Mega Boss, which is 14 slots, and then like a small Ork Infantry squad, like a 5-man Flash Kits if you want. But yeah, really good. T11, 3 up save, 16 wounds, -1 damage. Very good melee. This is a good guy. And then the gun wagon, if you want to run the cool gun guy, this guy surprisingly hits on freaking 4s, as everything does. Oh, look, that guy's T12. Okay, he got the ability back. So he has the big and what's it? Anything have any keywords? Battle wagon. Vehicle transport wagon. Okay. Oh, trucks are free Freeks. We gotta keep that in mind. When we look at the attachment. So gun wagon. Let's look at the ability first. In your shooting phase, he can reroll once to hit. That's it. Kind of boring. But you're gonna be here for guns. And he holds 12 models. So yeah, this is the art case. The art case took some of your transport capacity away, I think. It was the kill cannon. So if you took one of the guns, your transport capacity went down, but no one took it. But now this is the mandatory gun, so there you go. So it holds 12 models. You can still put Gazco in there if you want, so you can do Gazco in a small squad. All right, so rerolls once to hit, hits on 4s. It's T12 because it has the art case. So nice and tanky tank unit. And what it gets is you get the same melee weapons if you want. So it has the same exact melee profile. And you get the 4 big Shootas. These ones hit on 5s though. You can take the lob if you want. And you get a kill cannon, a cannon, or a zap gun. Which C is the best? So first is which is the baseline one? The cannon. The cannon is, the main profile is 2 shots at 30, so 2 to 4 shots, depending if you're close enough, at strength 10, AP2, D6 plus 1 damage. So a 2 to 4 shot pseudo las cannon, that's not bad. Or a 4 to 8 to blast 3 gun at 501. So if you had a 20-man, this is 8 plus 20 shots against a 20-man. So you have a 20-man, you have 40 bolter shots if you want. That's pretty spicy. So you take that gun. Or you take the kill cannon, which is interesting. 4 shots, 6, 3, 2. So pretty good profile. Last one, rapid fire 4, anti-infantry 3 up. So this is an infantry killer. So against, let's say a 10-man, you have 10 shots at 6, 3, 2, wounding on 3s, hitting on 4s, maybe 5s. That's pretty good, though low range. Last one is the zap gun. 2 shots, hitting on 4 at strength 8, AP2, 4 damage, anti-monster vehicle 4, dev wounds against vehicles and monsters, rapid fire 2, sustain 2. So 4 up to 4 shots if you're decently close. Sus 2 if you're super lucky. 8, strength 8, wounding on 4, stabbing on 4s, damage 4. Probably the zap gun, I'll be honest. It just seems better than the cannon in most instances. Sorry. Oh, there you go. Pause it. Apologize. All right, fix that. So yeah, I think these both are pretty good. Good transports all around. This one is a really nice gun wagon, as I say. If the wagon attachment's good enough, I gotta reread it with you guys. That's kind of spicy. It still holds models. It's like a repulsor executioner with less guns, but maybe something about better guns. It's literally the style line repulsor executioner. T12, 3-up save, has an able save, 16 wounds. So essentially a repulsor executioner. Remember, reroll once to hit always, so it's like hitting on a lot of times forge, rerolling ones. That's quite nice. It still has a lot of guns because it has 4 big shooters, which is 12 to 20 shots of little shitter shots. And the battle wagon is also a nice transport. It also holds more than a repulsor. All right, let's continue on. All right, the big beefy men, the Gorkin Morkanauts. These surprisingly still move 12, still T12. They didn't go down to T11 with the Knight thing, so maybe Knights are going back to T12. Maybe they regretted their T11 thing, so they can price them more. They still are slow as but slightly faster. They move 8, 9 instead of 8, but they still have about the same wounds. They have a 2-up save, which they had a 3-up before, I'm pretty sure. Still high OC, leadership bad. But what's important now is they have the super heavy walker ability, which they had the really shitty one that didn't work in last edition, which was they can move over terrain those 4 inches or lower, which didn't exist, which does exist now though, to be fair. And they can move through models, but now this just is the Knight ability. They can move through terrain on a 1, they get battle shock, they move through models. So that's a big improvement for them. They get damage at 7 wounds and they explode on D6 inches. So their abilities are, this is where it came from. And your gut hutch, they both have it. Gut hatch. In your move phase, when this unit ends a normal move, units embarked within it can make an assault disembark move, which is the Land Raider style assault ramp ability. That's really good if you want to take one. And this unit, his melee attacks reroll hits of 1, and it holds 12 models. Cannot transport gas school. So what you get is you get Deathstorm Mega Cannon, 2 dual big shooters, 1 melee weapon, 2 rockets, 1 Scorcher. So what does that give you? So the Deathstorm Mega Cannon, the main profile is 20 shots at 6-1-1. And again, the lethal hits against non-monster vehicles, which is mostly worse than it is now because it had rapid fire 10. But it has this mostly important part. Point blank, Torrent, 3d6, 6-1-1. So this is another thing I'm not liking they're doing on orcs. I'm not saying it's unbalanced or not. It's something I just dislike. So if any orc thing is within 12, they just become a flamer. So like I said, the downside of orcs having shitty BS, so they give them better stat lines, doesn't apply because if you're close, you just hit anyways. I don't know if this is an issue, but I don't really like that design. There's got 2 of these dual big shooters, which is 6 to 10 shots at 501. So it has 12 to 20 shots at 501 with the lethal hits. It's got how many rocket launchers? 2 rocket launchers, the same rocket launcher we've seen before, and a single Scorcher, which is a single Scorcher on the belly. Woo! And its melee weapon is very good. It's very good. This is also something I think might have issues. So 6 attacks, 18-3-6 with cleave 3. So his current profile is 5 attacks at 18-3-6, no keyword. That's already a decent profile. But cleave 3, like right now, his sweep is 15 attacks at 8-1-2. So if you fight obviously a 5-man Space Marine, he's probably worse off, maybe. AP1 is really bad. But if you fight a 10-man Space Marine, now you have 12 attacks, similar attacks, but with a way better profile, let alone fighting into elites like Terminator style units, you know, where this unit would struggle. You would have to use your strike, kill like 2 guys. Now, if you fight a 10-man, motherfucker has 12 attacks at 18-3-3. So, in a lot of ways, with these high cleave numbers that these models get, because they're taking away like the sweep profiles, they're just giving them a shit ton of cleave attacks, means that you'll have almost the same amount, if not equal amount of attacks as your old sweep, but you just use the main profile one. One of the biggest is Gaz. Gaz pretty much has the same amount of attacks. He has the same amount of attacks into a 5 as a 10-man or more than he did before, but using his good profile. And into a 5-man, what is he struggling to kill a 5-man? And it's still, he has like 2 or 3 less attacks than he had before, but at a way better profile. I don't really like that idea that that's going on. I think it can lead to big problems. But there is the Gorkanaut. They're very simple. They give you a Land Raider build. They're a big Land Raider that shoots quite hard. The one that shoots even harder, though, is Mr. Morkanaut. He holds the same amount. He has the same gut hutch ability, so advanced disembark. And he rerolls once to hit in the shooting phase instead of the melee phase. So what he gets is 2 big shooters, one melee weapon, which is the exact same, except one less attack, one less cleave. And he gets one custom Mega Blaster, one custom Mega Zapper. So that's what we're going to pay attention to, because the Wreckas and big shooters are the same. So instead of... he also gets a better invul save because he has a custom Mega Cannon on top. So he has a one better invul save, but the same stat line otherwise. So the difference is, instead of this Death Storm Mega Shoota and being slightly worse than melee, he has a custom Mega Zappa, which is 3 shots, 9-2-3. And then a custom Mega Zappa, which is 3 shots at, and that has hazardous, they both have hazardous, at 12-2-4 blast 1. That is quite a decent profile, especially into elites. Like, you fight an elite Terminator squad and you're shooting like 8 to 9 shots. Actually total, and you'll hit on 4s everything. Does he have 5s? So he hits on 4s with everything. So he actually just shoots harder. So it's saying to like a Terminator squad, you're shooting 4, 7 plus 5, 12 shots at damage 3 and 4. That's quite good. If you're hitting on 4s, maybe hitting on 5s, not the best. You have rerolls, and you still have a good melee weapon. You have the melee weapon of a better old Gorkanaut, but this is the shooty guy. So there's the Gorka Morkanaut. And remember, they are land raiders. Importantly, you can just shove a 6-man Meganob in here without a leader. 6-man Meganob mob squad without a leader in here and just charge people to death. And that is potentially spooky. Let's continue on. The Death Dread. Some Ork players are sad because you can't take a shooty Death Dread anymore. I understand, but so they kept it more nominal. It's very simple. So he starts with a big Shoota, a Dreadclaw, and a Scorcher. And you can turn his big Shoota into an extra weapon or a gun. And you can turn his Shoota into an extra melee weapon or a gun. So you can take 2 guns. Weird. So instead of 4 claws, he only gets 3 claws. I guess the 2 top claws is just 1 claw. It's called Dread Claw, so that makes sense. So you get 5 melee weapons plus 2 extra attacks you want, or 5 melee weapons plus 2 guns. That's what you get now. But what he has is Dread Ard. This unit has -1 damage. So GW figured out how to make Dreadnoughts good again. Go back to 9th edition, where all Dreadnoughts are -1 damage. Some Dreadnoughts have been decent this edition. Ballistices have been good when they made them cheap, because they were terrible, and then they got reduced like 3 times. This is 10th edition I'm talking about. And then they eventually became cheap enough to spam, because I got down to like 120 points. Redemptors were good a little bit near the beginning. God damn it. There, a little bit in the beginning, and then they went up in points, and then like a spam metrics build came out at the end. But Redemptors were never like that great through the edition. And those are pretty much the only Dreadnoughts that were played. Custodes played them here and there because they have stat increases, blah, 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 blah. And this was compounded by multiple reasons. 1, Dreadnoughts moved 6 unless you were like a Ballistis or a Redemptor, and then they moved 8. That was bad. 2, Dreadnoughts were in the really weird, awkward stat line of low toughness, because they're all T8, T9, maybe T10. And when a normal gun like vehicle, like just any tank, was like T11 or more. So they're really awkward to use. And they nerfed the shit out of the melee weapons. The Dreadnoughts used to have insane melee weapons in 9th edition. They were like strength 12, and strength 12 was insane. They were like D6 plus D3 plus 3 damage. And now they're flat 3, AP3 instead of AP2 damage 3 they are now. They made Dreadnoughts pretty freaking bad in 11th edition. Now, maybe, and all Dreadnoughts of all varieties for -1 damage. So a lot of those things that, it was a Dreadnought edition, 11th edition, and 9th edition. Dreadnoughts were some of the best units in the game. Combined, because also core, I don't really want to get into core, they were core. Combined with a lot of infantry models. Then they became a lot weaker in 10th edition. Now, maybe they want to make better. Because like I said, back to -1 damage on the Dreadnought, and he's also pretty good at fighting. His baseline weapon is just a strictly better Dreadnought already. 5 attacks, strength 12, AP2, 3 damage with cleave 1. So if you want to go full linear profile, you have 7 attacks, and you have cleave 1 at 12, 2, 3. Or you can just take your 5 attacks and take 2 of these guns. Probably rocket launchers. Maybe custom Mega Blasters. You gain hazardous, but you lose less shot. I don't know what's better. There you go. Big Mech, the Death Dread is very simple, and it moves 8 instead of 6. I'm pretty sure this one already moves 8, but most in the game move 6, which is cringy. Like the Custodian Dreadnoughts if you don't play 1 detachment. I guess 2 now. There you go. Let's continue on. All right, so we're almost done with vehicles, besides the one we already talked about, but we'll talk about them again really quick before we get to the Speed Freak and Flyer stuff, and that's the rest of the data sheets. So Killicans, now we have a lot of context of what other units do. So Killicans now move 8. Now they're T6. Same stat line otherwise. Very good. They have, if anything, is fighting T7 plus. Okay, T6 or lower than T7. If the fight things are T6 or lower, they +1 to it. Boom. So what you get is their gun. Either it is a 4-shot bolter at 611 with blast 1 and sus 1. That's quite good. or it's a 2-shot rocket launcher. So you can expect up to 12 rocket shots that might hit on 3s. Like this unit into Terminators is amazing. They come in with their 12 rocket shots, and then they come in with their 18 melee attacks and go bonk. Or you get simply an insane flamer. 3 attacks at 5/1/1 with blast 2. So if you fight, say, a 20-man Ork Boyz, for instance, you get 4 triggers of blast, so it's 8 extra. So 8 plus 3, you get 11 shots a guy. So that is 66 hits. If I was correct on my math, and I think I am. If I'm wrong, I apologize. 66 hits at 5/1/1 on these guys, and that can also Overwatch. Also, quite scary. And their melee weapon, even without the +1 hit, is not nothing to sneeze at. 3 attacks at 8, 2, 3, hitting on 4s, maybe hitting on 3s. Quite good. They're durable. It's like a Paragon Warp Suit, but better. It shoots mostly harder. It melees harder. It's the same durability. Probably cheaper, I would assume, but we'll see about that. But obviously, the leadership 8 instead of like 6. Paragon Warp Suits are probably 6. Might be 7. There you go. And quickly, the Stompa. Importantly, Stompa has a lot of big guns, blah, 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 blah. Importantly, he has 2 really good abilities. First one is, when you disembark from him, you become riled up. That's really good. And he is permanently riled up. That's why it has a 5, and we'll say right here, because technically he would get it, so they just made it simple. And he holds 22 models. He has an insane melee weapon of Cleave 4. So into a 5-man, this guy has 10 attacks. Into a 10-man, he has 14. Into a 15-man, he has, what is that, 18. And into a 20-man, he has 22. At 14, 24, 4, flat, 10. He has the insane Super Gatla, which is essentially the Gorkanut gun on steroids, because it's the same amount of shots, 3d6 shots plus 3, but at strength 7, AP2, 2 damage, and torrent. So if someone like gets near this guy, you just activate his luckily he can't Overwatch, never mind, he's Titanic. Woo! But if he's in combat, he'll shoot you to death. He is still T14, which is crazy, because I remember back in 10th edition, they were reducing all the T14, T13 models, T13, T12, but they kept the Stomp at 14, they never updated him, and they kept him in this edition, still 14. And he has a bunch of guns we talked about, like his Def Cam Super Rockets, 12 shots at strength 14, -3, D6 plus 2, blast 2. Remember, this guy is both a vehicle, walker, and has towering, so he'll get plunging fire very easily. He has detachment buffs, so he can get all that jazz, so keep a lot of this with that. But where we talked about this guy, he is fairly silly. So let us talk about the Speed Freak / flying units. All right. So depressingly for me, because these actually were, if you want to know my favorite model in 40K is the Megas Track Scrap Jet. When these things came out in 8th edition, I got like in the 20s to 25 real buggy models because I love them so much. They're just my favorite. Even though I don't like vehicles, I just love these buggies more than anything for no reason. I just love them. And that's also why I played it when the Codex came out in 9th edition. They were OP and I was happy because I got to play all my buggies and that was really cool. But what they did is they combined every buggy into one data sheet. So you want to know the amount of buggy differences we went? Oh my God. So we went from 4 or 5 data sheets with up to 3 models. And then we went to 4 or 5 data sheets with 2 models. And then we went to 2 data sheets with 2 models. So you used to be able to take 9 of each. So 45. Yeah, 45. Unless there's 4 of them. I think there's 5. Yeah, there's 4 here and 1 extra one. So 45 buggies. Now you can take 10. Holy shit. That sucks. So what I was saying is they took the 4 buggy data sheets that aren't the rocket truck. So the Scrap Check, the Dragsta, the one with the Mech Special, and the Rivet Cannon, and combined them into one data sheet. And you can still only take 1 to 2 models. Right here. That's sad. And so what they did is they took the Rivet Cannon guy, the Boomdagger Snazwagon, and the Custom Booster Blast, and combine them together, and you just pick what gun you want. The Scrap Jet and the Shock Jump Dragsta are just dead. Never to be seen again, even though Scrap Jet is the coolest one. I don't know. They should have kept that one. So that's sad. So obviously you can just use whatever buggy is you want, even though it says you need a Rivet Cannon. You can use your Mechatrack Scat Jet Rivet, like Rocket Cannon, but that is very sad, and this is the lamest thing in the Codex, I'll say that. So what they do, we'll talk about the data sheet ability first. In your move phase, you can select 1 visible enemy that isn't a monster vehicle within 6, and that unit cannot, the enemy unit cannot be targeted by the fire Overwatch stratagem they enter. That's actually a very good ability. Orcs are successful at Overwatch, one of the armies. It's a melee army, the low durability specific units. So if you just take a couple of these, especially if it's attachment that's all about speed freaks. You walk up to the enemy and say, you can't Overwatch, fuck you. And then you just run at them, especially now that Overwatch is the end of the phase, so you can just perfectly set this up. So that is a very strong ability, especially if they're not expensive. I can easily see like 1 to 3 of these, whether it be solo or more, just saying fuck you. So what they start with is an extra DACA, a mech special, and a spiked ram. And you can turn your mech special into a rivet cannon. So extra DACA is a 4-shot bolter with sustained hits with the anti-monster vehicle and +1 AP. It's like the little guy shooting on the side. So you either get mech special or rivet cannon. So first let's look at the rivet cannon, the main weapon. They both have a torrent profile. Like I said, I dislike this that they're doing this, but they both have a torrent profile. But the normal version of the rivet cannon is 6 shots hitting on force, because like I said, every orc thing hits on force now. I don't know why. At strength 7, AP2, 2 damage, so like an auto cannon profile. Anti-infantry 4 up. It has assault baseline, dev wounds, and dev wounds against infantry. So shoots infantry quite hard, especially with this version. So if you're within 6, you can use the flamer version, which is D3+1, which is the average of 3 hits of the same anti-infantry 4 up, dev wounds 7, 2, 3. So if it's in combat, if you run up and target someone with the ability, stuff like that, you can just flame them and do a good amount of damage, or even flame them afterwards and do some more damage when they try and move. And the mech special, that's like the big pew 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 one. This was the Boomdaka Snaz weapon. Its main profile is it's an okay bolter profile. 14 shots, hit strength 5, AP1, 1 damage. Always has assault, lethal hits against small things, and sustained hits 1. And if you're close by, you can get a 2d6+2 auto hitting version. This one is not that impressive. This one's actually an interesting gun because the anti-infantry and the dev wounds, all of that jazz. Its melee weapon is pretty much the same it was before, but now hits on 3s. 4 attacks, strength 7, AP1, 2 damage with cleave. So, like I said, these things won't spend. If they're 100 points, they're bad. If they're 50 to 80 points, they're probably pretty good as a couple. It's a between 1 to 3 solo guys. But that's a really good ability. It's actually a really good ability because like this is actually a relatively rare ability. It's not that common, and you usually have to set up to do this. This is just walk near someone as a guy who moves 12 to 18 inches. Potentially, no, that attachment doesn't exist anymore. I was like, potentially 24, but they got rid of that attachment because it's the old one. All right, so that is the buggy attachment. Let's look at the Boomdaka Snaz. Sorry, the Rocket Chuck Squig buggy, because it's the only one that survived. So same top line stat line as the other guy. He has the same melee weapon. His Squig launchers is pretty much the same as it was before. D6+6 attacks, hitting on 4s instead of 5s at 5, 1, 2, and ignores cover. And a little shotgun that doesn't matter at all. Its ability, though, is Squig Barrage. In your shooting phase, when this unit is shot, select one enemy unit that's not a vehicle or monster, hit by this unit's Squig launcher, and they become covered in squigs. And when they're covered in squig, they're -1 hit, which stacks with cover. So this is also, if it's cheap, and we'll get to, I think, probably one of the best strats in 40k. If you play us in Speed Freaks, it's very good. We'll get to that strat when we talk about the attachment. But that strat makes me a little mad. But -1 hit, throw out -1 hit against a gun unit, a melee unit, because it works in melee too, and just make them say you're definitely not killing these freaking mega knobs. After I heal them all back to life. Alrighty, that is the buggies. Now let's get to the normal Speed Freak stuff. All right, we're getting to the end of the data sheets. So these are the new and improved war bikers. They're so cool. I'm gonna get some. All right. Oh god, that's an insane ability. We're gonna have to go back to the leader of this unit. So war bikers are still T12, still 3 wounds. Sergeant still has 4, which I think they've always had 4 wounds on the sergeant. So I think it was slightly different. Still 4 up save with a nimble save. All right, 2 OC. So differently. So each guy, the knob has a custom choppa and a dual combi rocket. And each guy has a choppa and a dual DACA gun. And no special here, but the custom choppa is the power surge profile we've seen on other models before. So your sergeant has 4 attacks at 5.22, pretty good. And the baseline choppa is 3 attacks at 5.11. So since we're talking about gun melee, let's already talk about this. We kind of saw this with Storm Boys, but here's a better version. High speed carnage. If the unit made a charge move, this unit's attacks have +1 strength and damage. And it says it's unit's attacks, not knob biker attacks. So this means when you charge with these guys, you have 3 attacks at 6, 1, 2, and then 4 attacks at 5, 2, 6, 2, 3. Plus it affects your character. This is essentially the same ability as the Outriders, but their weapons are way better baseline. And they have better leaders because Outriders, they have 1 leader in Dark Angels. That's it. Otherwise, it's a chaplain. And these guys have the cool guy, Death Killer War Tribe. And then the guns. Let's look at the guns. So it's funny the Knob has to take the dual combi rocket. You can't even switch it for a Daka gun. But the Daka gun, this is what the normal guys have, is 6 shots at 501 with the lethal hits and assault. That's a pretty good gun. You take a 6-man, so you get 5 of them, that's 30 shots. And since they're not infantry, you don't have to feel stupid by shooting them. And then the rocket guy he gets a rocket that can also shoot at the same weapon as them. It's not twin linked or anything. So that is a very good, fast unit. And they have explosives, which is cool. So let's go roll back time and look at the Def Kill Warstrike and see how much better he is with +1 strength and damage. All right, back to blurry mode. But his baseline profile becomes 5 attacks at strength 8, AP2, 3 damage. His melted profile becomes strength 11, D6 plus 2 damage, and then his burner profile becomes strength 6, AP1, 2 damage with cleave 1. That is a big boon to that guy, and he also has +1 advance to the unit, so they go really, really fast. And he can wall them whenever they want, so they can, whenever they want, just go wee. That's really good. It's really good to this guy. It's a big boon. So you have 2 guys with 3 damage, beating the crap out of the enemy at decent strength. Strength 6 on the sergeant, strength 8 on this guy, plus any other buffs you have outside. So that is a big buff. Pretty scary Alpha Strike unit that also shoots decently hard. All right, the Warstrike. This guy came out with a thud, like a big turd. So same-ish stat line as he had before. His guns are the same. Just the custom shooter gained the lethal hits ability, but he also gained a fancy weapon instead of the shitty little normal choppa that he had before. So now he is +1 AP, +1 damage. He actually can punch someone, kind of. He is no keyword, just mounted speed freaks. What he has is speed knob support. While his model is within 3 of a speed freaks unit, that isn't another Warstrike, he has load up. That's actually very good. It's very good. Especially if you're playing speed freaks, holding objectives might be hard because you don't have hidden models. So you can just have this guy hold objective, be a strictly better hidden because you don't have to touch, and have Warbikers behind a wall protecting him. What he has is bust him. And your shooting phase, when you need a shot, select one enemy unit hit by this tactics unit is busted. This codex loves to bust things. Until the end of the turn. Friendly speed freaks units that target a busted unit are lethal hits. So you can give them lethal hits. Any of those speed freaks we're talking about, any of the bikes, in both phases. Also, you can take 2 of them now instead of only 1 man. So you can take 6 of these. 6 little lone up Warstrikes. That's fun. You know, the Void Raven, the Void Reaver, whatever, the Harlequin thing could never. This guy looks really good, really efficient, especially if he's not expensive. Like, you know, in the 50-ish point bracket. And then finally is, ooh, look how cool they are. That's his custom choppa. They're so cool. These things are so beautiful. Like, I want to talk about this. So, Ork Warbikers are one of my favorite models for 40k. They've always, like, called to me as, like, a day sheet, like a model, because they're really cool front models. They're very unique looking bikes, versus the really boring Space Marine bikes. And I've loved them. And I didn't think they could really improve them, even though they're old and weird looking. I was like, they're one of the coolest models ever. They're hard to improve. Their front plates are so cool, and they got cool guns and blah, 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 blah. They probably did improve them. I think these are probably, in a lot of ways, better, which is crazy to say. Same thing I thought with Lionel Johnson, because I'm like, they can't improve the Forge World Lionel Johnson. That's the best model ever made. And I think they did. Here's the Forge World guy, you know, off topic, and here's the 40k guy you've seen a bunch of times. I got both these guys. You guys don't know, Dark Angel's like one of my first armies. I just think 10th edition Dark Angels is boring as fuck. So I don't play them. I don't do anything. There you go. And then finally, the Def Copters. Okay, these guys are spooky. Let's see if they're still spooky. All right. Same top line, stat line. Are they still vehicles? They're mounted now. They're not weird small vehicles anymore. Look at that dude's hands. Movement 12, T6, 4 up save, 4 wounds, 2 OC. Same thing they are before. So let's talk about their abilities. In the shooting phase, this unit made an ignorance move, +1 to hit. And at the end of your opponent's 5 phase, this unit unengaged and go in reserve. That is just really good. Its old ability was shitty. It was when they moved, they did some mortal wounds. When they fly over someone, which is also hard to do this edition because you get my student move for doing it. But 2 really good abilities. This was also one of the best Orc shooting units. 18 Death Copters was a common and good build. It was at, you know, top placing at Tacoma, stuff like that. It was common at WTC recently. So that's pretty nuts. You traded 1 shitty ability for 2 really good abilities. And their guns are okay. They lost twin linked though. Now they just have normal rocket launchers. That is a big downside, I will say. And overall, flat 2 shots is probably worse than blast. You know, they don't have like 3 shots because it used to be blast D3, which the average is 2, and then blast made it better. So overall, probably worse there. It gives you an incentive to actually use the Mega Blaster, which you never did before. And then their melee weapons are different. It used to be 6 attacks of 501, but now they have hazardous, but they're not mounted. Okay, they're just mounted. They're not vehicles anymore. So benefits, they don't get anti-vehicle to death. Nothing is like anti-mounted in the game. You can use their choppas, I guess. So if you want cleave and +1 attack, you hit them with your rocket. If you just want to hit someone, you hit them with their choppa. There you go. But the hazards is barely a thing because it's on a 1 or 2. You take 1 mortal wound, whatever. But that's different because you lost 2 attacks, but you gain cleave. So against a 5-man, you lose 1 attack and gain an AP. That's probably better. So they lost their twin link. They gain +1 to hit. They gain uppy downy. They're definitely more interesting as 3-mans, and depending on the detachments, they might be better. But that is interesting to think about, say the least. All right, and then the last group of day sheets is the freaking planes. We know everyone loves planes. Are these all aircraft or any of them planes? Let's see. They're all aircraft, so simple. So to simply say, there's an attachment that lets you deep strike your army. The plane attachment lets you put every plane in strat reserve, and it doesn't take up deep strike points. So that might be an interesting thing to think about because you can literally put like 1,200 points of planes in reserve, depending on how much these cost. You can take 12 of them. Okay, you definitely put more than 1,200 points in planes because these are probably like 150 points each. And then the rest of your army too, because it makes 1 a character. So that is something to think about. I don't know if it's going to be good, but it is something to think about. And you can have your whole army off the board. All right. So the Blitz-A-Bomb, this one has always been the worst one, at least from 8th edition onwards. Let's see if it's any interesting. So, Boom Bomb. At the end of your opponent's fight phase, select any visible unit within 24, and on D6, it does something. Oh, these abilities suck. The issue with these abilities is that planes come in your movement phase, and they sit there. So they come in your movement phase, shoot, and are just chilling. And then the opponent now has a movement phase, and a shooting phase, and a fight phase to just run away from this ability. Because at the end of your opponent's fight phase, they get to move, they get to kill the plane, because fundamentally they have a 3-up save now. What the fuck? I just noticed that. So they're actually more durable. But they have a whole phase to try and kill them, and then they have a whole charge phase to charge away, and they have a whole pile and consolidate phase to run away. Even though technically you can use these infinite amount of times, like realistically you can. But at the opponent's fight phase, select 1 enemy unit within 24, and you roll dice, and something happens. That isn't a lone up. On a 1 to 3, you do D3. On a 4 to 5, you do 3. On a 6, it has D3 plus 3. It is a bomber. Nothing crazy there. It has a normal car melee weapon, and it has 1 big Shoota and 1 dual big Shoota. Dual super Shoota. So its super Shoota is 8 to 12 shots at 611, hitting on 5s, the lethal hits. And then it's got 3 to 5 shots with the big Shoota. This thing is pretty bad. You're probably not going to run it. It doesn't do a lot. And then let's look at the Burner Bomber, because it's similar but slightly different. The Burner Bomber, so these all have the same stat line, except this guy has his little 6-up pinwheel save. Okay. So the Burner Bomber's ability is, and these all degrade at 4 wounds. Burner Bomb. At the opponent's fight phase, pick an enemy that is not lone up or vehicle monster and roll a dice. On a 2-up, they take D3 mortal wounds. They also cannot be hidden until the end of the next turn, and range attack have ignores cover. That is a much more impressive buff. But at the same time, your opponent has to... think about this. Remember, it has to be visible. And you know what hidden does? It makes you not visible. So even if your opponent is standing out the open, as long as they're 12 to 15 inches away and touching terrain, it also can't use it on them. But that is a stronger ability, hypothetically. You know, still a similar amount of more wounds, but it gives you a really good buff and takes away hidden from them. So I like that more. So what he has other than that is you don't get to shoot with... that's silly. Unless... okay, it still can. Okay. See, well, it can be equipped with a Scorch and Mishra. Why? There's no reason not to. So what you get is a dual big Shoota, a dual super Shoota, and a Scorch and Missile Rack. So it's got the same shooting as the other guy with an extra gun. So we're not going to reiterate. It's the same 8 to 12 shots at good profile and 6 to 4 shots at decent profile. Oh, I guess this one's a dual. So it has double the amount of shots. Sorry. Yeah, the Top Gun's dual. Look how cool that is. I love Ork Flyers. They're some of the coolest models 40k. Because they're all just like World War II style looking things. They look so cool. Like these little grot guys on the top. Yeah. Yeah, this one's probably my favorite. Or this one, because shooting backwards. That's fun. They're just fun. So what he gets other than that is 6 attacks at 501 blast 2 ignores cover. It's kind of shitty, I'll be honest. No AP. Okay, so I like this one better than that one, but it's still not great. Thankfully, we don't want planes to be OP. Okay, the next one that is not as weird as the last one. So, Dakajet is the guy that shoots. He still hits on 5s, which is kind of crazy. So, strafing run. In your shooting phase, the target's a unit that is not fly plus 1 to hit. I think that's what they had before. Before, his abilities were better. It had a bunch of sustained hits, but it was each hit counts as a crit. So you can do cool things. You can you can strat reserve next to a mech to give it. Do aircraft get tapped to plunging fire? I don't think they do. They do not. But its ability was each hit counted as a crit hit. So you could strat reserve it in and then just walk a mech next to it because the mech ability is at the end of the movement phase and give it +1 hit. So it done 4. So each 4 counted as 2 hits. And if you somehow could give it lethal hits too, boom, that was cute. But now it's just +1 hit against non-flyers, which is fine. What it gets is 3 dual super shooters. So it gets 24 to 36 shots at 611 lethal hits. That is a lot more impressive than the other ones. That is a lot of shots, but it's probably hitting on 5s. If you can ever set it up where it hits on 4s, that's actually kind of scary. Because it up and downs every time some planes do. So kind of interesting. But that's still just like, this is a guy that shoots some bolter shots. You know, we saw a lot of them in the army. It's not hard to get. The was boom blasted jet is the last plane. Okay, I don't want this to be good. No one wants planes to be good, but let's see if this guy does. Go for the weak spot. So in your shooting phase, this unit's range attack to target a monster vehicle. That's already a good effect. Off to a good start. So I'm trying to see if there's any downside. So you get the blasted jet force field for automatically because all you have to do is you lose smoke, which is almost useless this edition. So he has the 5 missile save. Boom. So what he has is 1 smasher gun, 1 dual WAS bomb mega cannon, and you get a dual super shooter, and you can switch out your WAS bam gun for a mega blaster. So first, you get your super shooter, which is the 8 to 12 shots we've been over a bunch of times. You get a smasher gun, which is the same we saw on the mech guns, 4 shots, 633, a very good profile. And then you get one of these ones. So either 6 shots at 923, 6 to 12 shots at 923 rapid fire ignores cover. That is a good fucking gun. Holy shit. 60 cents is +1 to wound against vehicles and monsters. Oh god. Or you get this gun. 4 shots at 12. Why is it dual? 12 to 4 hazardous ignores cover. I'm taking this gun. This gun's way better. This one's actually a good gunboat. Since it has +1 against vehicles and monsters, its main guns ignore cover. All its guns that matter ignores cover. They all ignore cover. Never mind. What the fuck? These all ignores cover? Have I been like stupid? No, this one just ignores cover on every gun. It's got a mech inside, guys, and mechs ignore cover. So it's just gonna hit on 4s 90% of the time. And if there's any like mechs, you know, if you can strat reserve it next to a mech and mech go donks it, because the mech ability still 1 strat reserves anytime in movement phase, but 2 the mech ability still +1 hit. You can make it hit on 3s, and that's actually terrifying. This model is actually terrifying if it hits on 3s. So we'll have to see. It is just a vehicle. It is a speed freaks too. Are they all speed freaks? So we have to keep in mind the speed freaks attachment, but speed freak buffs, vehicle buffs, aircraft or flying buffs. Because this one's, unless this one's like 300 points, which, like, to be fair, it is the like the stat line, like it shoots harder than a Void Raven bomber and it's got a better stat line than it, so realistically it should be like 250 points, but we'll see if it is. But this thing is quite good, I will say, like an actual really good piece. So if you hate aircraft, unless this thing's like 300 points, you might be a little sad. But there we go. You had one bad one interesting support piece, and one completely points dependent, but I think can be fine Dakichet, and one good model that can be ruined by points. Like what this model gives you is good. It has good shooting. It's not like the least squishy thing in the world. It has a 3-up save, a 5-up invul save, and it's 12 wounds, and it's T9. It's not T8 or anything. And it has good damage. So that is that. So we went from bad to mid to decent to actually good, you know, in, you know, straight line. There we go. There is every data sheet. Boom. Lots of orc things. They're very good here. If you like 3 damage, you like killing things, this is your codex. If you like being better than every 10th edition codex, you're in the good spot, because we haven't got the detachments yet. Yay! Detachments! All right, let's get to the detachments now. First, the Warhorde. This is the... Seemingly, these are all 1 DP, because they all take 1 page. This is the only one that's 3 DP. So every orc list is pretty much going to be 3 detachments. So that's going to be interesting. And this is Warhorde. Very simple. If you want to play the same detachment for 6 years straight, There you go. All right. So attach ability, sustained hits and melee. Simple. Good. Simple and good. All right. Head Wapas to kill Choppa. Orc model only is models charged, models attacks at +1 attack. +1 AP. +1 AP for a single guy. That's not very good. That's all I could say. It's cute on a squig because he has he's his little mount, but that's it. It's not very impressive. This is like a 10-point enhancement at most. The boss is watching. Orc model only, once per battle per army. In your move phase, this unit keeps ability. If you do, this unit is riled up. There you go. Another way to easily get riled up. You want 20 units riled up in one turn without using your wild ability? Found the codex for you. Next is Cunning but Brutal. The same as it was in 10th edition. This unit can fall back, shoot, and charge. Good. Follow me, lads. Sorry. Kitty. Kitty wanted to go, Zelda. Go. Don't worry, she's still here. Follow me, lads. +2 movement. Very good enhancement. Same as is now. Especially combined with another rule that's in here. Alrighty. Breaking heads. Good strat. Any phase when friendly orcs unit becomes battle shocked, that enemy unit, even though you can target that unit, even though it's battle shocked, roll D3, you take that much more wounds and become battle shocked. To be fair, there's 1,000 ways to battle shock you in this army. Every single war boss can do it, but it's just a good way to not just lose. Because it says any phase when a friendly attached order becomes battle shocked, so you can do it, become battle shocked, and instantly do this and become unbattle shocked and hold your objective. So it's guaranteed you'll hold an objective no matter what. That's good. Hit them harder. 1 CP. 5 phase when friendly unit orc unit fights, they get lethal hits. Boys have lethal hits baseline, but nothing else does. So this is just a decent damage buff. I'm gonna say, sus is better. You already have sus, so there you go. Next, orcs is never beaten. So this was the 2 CP auto find death. This one is probably better because I think it's the best version of find death. So 1 CP when a friendly orc unit is selected. When someone fights targets an orc unit that's not a Titanic, so you can't use Unstompas or Gork and Morkonauts. And when you destroyed on a 4-up, you find death, +1 if you route it up. So usually how find deaths work is 1 CP 4-up is the worst. 2 CP automatic find death is good. And then 1 CP 3-up fight on death is the best kind of find death. That's usually how it works. It's slightly different for orcs now that they have CP. This is also, implying CP economy. It was especially correct if you were an army that did not have good CP economy, like orcs were before. But now orcs have easy access to CP economy. Like any character you take just gives you 1 CP a turn. Luckily, it's the Warlord, so you have to keep them alive. But you have that easy CP economy just for taking it. But we saw how easy it is to be riled up, being the wall. This is pretty much almost always gonna be 1 CP 3-up find death, which is really, really good. Next is mow him down. 1 CP when a friendly orc vehicle unit that's not a walker makes a charge move. That vehicle unit, your unit's melee attacks have cleave 1, or if they already have cleave, they become +1 cleave. This is very good on specifically like a battle wagon because he has 3 weapons. Give him a bunch of cleave, bada boom. And since his secondary weapons already have cleave, if you're fighting like a 10-man, that's a shit ton of extra attacks. It's not like an insane strat, but it is like quite good on a battle wagon, or on even like a rig, like a hunter in the hunter rig stuff, whatever not Dakar rig, whatever. Fungus fuel injection move phase when an orc's mounted vehicle is selected to move. That mounted unit has +2 movement. So you combine this with if you take Follow Me Lads on a War Strike, that is +4 movement and the +1 advance. So your 16-inch movement baseline essentially, and then D6 +1 is like an average of almost 5. It's like an average of 4.5. So we'll just say 4. So the average, your average movement is 20 inches, which is really fucking fast. Luckily, this is just for vehicles are mounted, but 20-inch in charge is really fast. And close range Daka. This was an upgrade for more Daka before. Now it's just strat 1 CP when a friendly orc unit is selected to shoot that unit, you get rapid fire 1, or if you already have rapid fire, increase your rapid fire. This is very good on flash kits, especially on their Melta profile. I hope flash kits can't be led by Meks. I hope they can't. We'll find out this weekend. But giving them, sus, ignores cover, rapid fire on their, that's evil. Warhorde, This is more of a holistic detachment than just here's melee buffs. You have good movement, you have good shooting buff, and then you have, you know, good support buff, good damage increases. So this is just a holistic detachment. I don't know if people are going to play it too often because you're giving up 3-1 DPs, but this is just a very, very good generic detachment, which is not very surprising. All right, so Greentide and Bully Boys. Look at these together. All right, you know, to Greentide, friendly boys unit, which I'm pretty sure the Beastsnaggas boys have the boy keyword. All right, they do not. So this is annoying. This is something GW does a lot, where they do tag, they use abilities on a tag or a name. They don't really explain if it's a tag based or name based. I didn't see any boy tags, so it just seems like this is named. So this one looks like boys specifically have sustained hits 1. And if a friendly Ork infantry made a charge move, they get lethal against non-monsters vehicles, which includes every vehicle. This is, for 1 TP, this is really strong. Sus 1 on boys who also have lethal on charge, so sus lethal, and then your whole army, infantry-wise, gain lethal hits against, you know, things they might need help with. That's good. So enhancements, ferocious, show off. Ork infantry, this unit's melee attacks a +1 attack, or if you have 11 models, +2 attack. This is fine. It's fine. Art boys, upgrade, or boys unit only, unit has a 4 save. Like, if this is like 15 points, maybe for 20 men, it's kind of cute. But like, 4 save's not really going to save you much. You're probably going to be just using your 5 save forever. But I know people like that. You know, if you want to model some art boy stuff, that's kind of fun. Unbridled Carnage. 1 CP, 5 phase when a boy unit selected to fight. That boy unit has +1 attack. That's a really freaking good buff. Holy crap. 1 CP +1 attack that affects your crazy fucking characters, like, you know, your big boss and your war boss, and let them kill everything, and your knob. Okay, that's really good. Mob mentality. Start of the Battleshock step. Start of the Battleshock step of your command phase. 1 friendly Ork model that has 13 or more models. That's very specific. Select 1 friendly Ork unit within 12. This unit's Battleshock tests are automatically successful. So it's like a hard way to use auto pass, but you can use it every turn. That's fine. I kind of like the other one more. I just like, you failed your test and used it. You took a couple damage in the auto pass anyways. And here we go. 1 CP, your move phase when a friendly Beastsnaggas boys or boys unit selected to fight. A move +2 to advance. It's obviously very good. You know, go fast, don't fail. The slow, you know, between a 3 and an 8-inch advance, especially if you disembark for a transport on the same turn, and, you know, essentially moving 9 plus 3 to 8. So between 12 and 8 plus 9, 17. Very fast. Very good. These rules are very important for melee, especially since your attachment ability, you know, gives you the damage baseline. So having support is also very good to go with it, especially since this is 1 DP. So you have a lot of extra buffs you can do with it. You know, you have a nice damage strat, you have a nice support strat, and you have a nice mobility strat. That's essentially exactly what you need in a detachment. This has all of it. That's only 1/3 of your attachments. Next is Bully Boys. So mega knobs are, you know, points depending, the best day sheet in the book. So let's make another attachment about them. You know, you guys liked Bully Boys back in the day. They're back. I hope you like 18 mega knobs. Alrighty. Displays of savagery. Mega knob units have sus and melee. Just good. The end. No double wall, but who the fuck cares? Because you get double wall whenever the hell you want. All right. Wimp Kickass. Upgrade unit for knobs, not mega knobs. When enemy unit falls back, they must take a desperate, and if you're battle shocked, -1 of the hazardous roll. This is better than most of these style abilities because those are usually if your opponent's already battle shocked, -1. This is like when it, you know, it's in your control if you're gonna make the -1, but these type of abilities are not very good. Teleport up boss, mega armor model only. This unit has deep strike that can't beat vehicles. This is what I was talking about. So I think this implies like the Meks can lead the mech guns, because those are like the only thing that's a mega armor boss that can hang out with mech guns. That's what I think. But this like will let you, you know, get your knobs into a good spot. Like you can do that flamer deep strike, set them in a deep strike spot and flame someone to death and be durable because they're AOC 3 wound 2 up save guys that might have an invo save if you take a mech with the backpack. Though I think his gun is way better, and that is quite spooky. All right, and next is the strats. Too arrogant to die. Fight phase when they target a mega knob or knob unit, you get a 4 or 5 on death. +1 if you're riled up. The same exact strat as the Greentide, Ork's never beaten, except it's only for mega knobs and knobs. Insanely good. 1 CP, 3 up, 5 death. Really good. That's all there is to say. Yep. Armed to the teeth. Your shooting phase, fight phase, when a mega or a knob unit is selected to attack, you get real ones to hit. If you're out up, 4 reals to hit. 1 CP, 4 reals to hit is really good. I don't know what to say, guys. When when you're 1 DP and your mega knobs, which are strength 10, damage 3, and have twin linked and have +1 hit because of their ability, and now have sustained hits, and now have 4 reels to hit, they're just gonna kill everything. They're just gonna kill everything, and they're not gonna die. And they're also gonna be arrested every turn because you maybe have a neck, you maybe playing the best attachment in the game. We'll get to later. And yeah. All right. Oh, don't worry. You have an OP strat here. Okay, this attachment's so broken. Oh my god. Hulking Brutes. Your opponent's shooting phase when enemy unit targets a knob unit, mega knobs or knobs. You get minus the transhuman effect for 1 CP, which is range attack the target unit that are strength higher, toughness, or -1 wound. So if someone is strength 7 or higher, you can be -1 wound. Or luckily it's only shooting phase. Or if you pay 2 CP, you're just -1 wound. So if you're fighting against anything that is T6 or lower, if you spend 2 CP, you're essentially getting wounded on 6s. And then you have AOC, and then you can be healed, and blah, 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 blah. And then you can't die. Yeah. And it is seemingly till the end of the phase, because they added those wordings, something that says, until this unit has shot. So it seemingly lasts all phase 2, though I'm not 100% sure in it. So this attachment has 3 insane strats, 1 really good attach ability, 1 good enhancement. So this is, and for 1 DP. And it's also about, in my opinion, the best day sheet in the book. Don't worry, you have 2 more attachments you can add. So like already we're in an easy combo of Greentide plus Boyz, really good together. Crazy that they're next to each other. Let's continue on. It's gonna be harder to pick what 3 1 DPs we do versus damn, I only want to take 1 DP. That's most of the codexes are currently. Tactical to Brigade. We have this currently, probably fully reworked. Friendly Stormboys have battle line, same as this now. The friendly Stormboys or Commando or Boys is selected to fall back. They can fall back and charge. Well, that's very uncommon in Orcs. As you've seen, this is the first time we've seen fall back and charge this army so far. Except for maybe Wastaka. Maybe he fall back and charges. Nazdrag? Maybe he fall back charges. I don't remember exactly. But yeah. This is a very good ability for 1 DP. Get battle line Stormboys. Especially like I like Stormboys. I really like their effect, for the skirmishing unit. All right. So kill Commando. Big Mech Warboss. That is infantry only, while his model is attached. This unit has infiltrator and stealth. And this will also let you lead commandos. This is obviously the commando leading one. Those abilities that say let you lead something are always in the MFM. So Sloat Slitter upgrade. Commandos are Stormboy only. These models melee attacks have lethal hits against non-monster vehicle. So that even more increases that cool Stormboy plan. I really like this upgrade. If it's definitely cheap, or like if it's not too expensive, like 10 to 15 points, I can definitely see putting on a 10 man and going for that cool 10 man play I was talking about earlier. If you want to play this attachment. Tactical upgrade. Dubious Restraint. Start or end of your moon phase, select one of the Boyz, the units, Boys, Commandos, Stormboys, and they sticky an objective. That's good. It can be. Mind mostly on the mission. 1 CP, your moon phase when a friendly Boys, Commandos, Stormboys is selected to fall back or advance, they can still action. This attachment is almost identical as before. It's not too much changes, but very good. Action and do stuff. Also, one thing we haven't talked about is this is going to give Orcs the ability to play any disposition they want. That's always best because they're going to have they have 12 to whatever amount of 1 DPs. So they can always play whatever disposition they need to without harming or their list at all. So that's a big thing to talk about. While their backs are turned, 1 CP, enter your opponent's move phase, 1 friendly Boys, Commando, Stormboy, that was engaged, normal move 6. So this attachment is almost the exact same. Also, this strat's fucking OP as shit, by the way. God, this strat sucks. Why is it end your opponent's move phase? The issue is you're gonna see every movement, every deep strike your opponent does, and then you get to run 6 inches in some direction and maybe set up hidden. Oh, this strat is overpowered. So this definitely feels like, unless you're doing a very specific list, the best third attachment you're gonna run, or the random 1 DP you're gonna run, because I don't think they have any 2 DPs. So it definitely feels like, all right, I have my 2 attachments I actually care about. Tactical raid. There you go. Boom. So we'll see. Obviously, like, you know, Boyz could be terrible. Like, Boyz are 15 points a model, they're terrible. So this is all points dependent, but I'm thinking this agnostically of just the rules you're seeing here. This seems like an insane detachment. Wreckas. This is the flash kit and the kill team detachment. So wrecking and looting. In a shooting phase, when a friendly Boyz, flash kits, or tank bust units, which we all saw were all good data sheets, especially tank busts and flash kits, selected to shoot. If any of the following applies, it's also funny, Boyz can take 1 or 2 pistols, so why is it only shooting only? If any of the following apply, that units can reroll once to hit wound. Ones to hit. So if it's within range of objective or your opponent's objective, you reroll once to hit. This also directly combines with flash kits because that's what the flash kit ability does. So easy combo. That makes flash kits even better. Like I said, I hope they can't be led, but I'm ready to be disappointed. Captain's Hat. Big Mech War Boss infantry only. While both players have deployed their armies, they can redeploy up to 3 friendly Ork infantry units. When doing so, you can slide up those units into strat reserve, regardless how many units are in strat reserve. Redeploys are fine. They're not like god tier, but they're good to have if it's not expensive. And then Super Snazz upgrade. Flash kits. The unit snaz weapons have rapid-fire 1. You're going to take 30 flash kits. You're going to take this 3 times. And you're going to table your opponent. You know, I talked about how rapid-fire 1 was really cool with the strat. What if all your flash kits are rapid-fire 1 to always? You saw those plasma guns? You saw those melta guns? Guys, I hope you cannot leave flash kits with Meks, or we're in for a bad time. Unless flash kits are 25 points a model, then we're safe. But they're freaking 15 points a model right now. They won't be because they're 3 wounds. But I don't think they're going to be 25 points. Even at 25 points, I think they're still quite good. You know, maybe not 30 of them, but this is really good. It's really good. All right. We're off to a good start. I'm already liking Bully Boys, Wreckers, and some other attachment. Like I said, Bully Boys amazing, Wreckas amazing. Then you pick your third attachment. Greentide, Tactical Brigade, we'll see more. The best attachment in the game we haven't got to yet. Shit. All right. Drive by Bustin'. This codex is bustin'. Maybe that'll be the title of the video. I don't know. I haven't named it yet. Drive Bustin'. That's a good title. All right. 1 CP, your shooting phase when a friendly transport is selected to shoot. That transport unit's range attack with weapons selected for the firing attack ability have +1 to hit. So you can make flash kits hit on 3 shooting out of a truck. Thankfully, this doesn't work. This doesn't, because it's an upgrade for the unit. So this doesn't work when you're transport, thankfully. But you can walk up, hit on 3s, and table your opponent. Well, in a car. Grab it. 1 CP. Your shooting phase when a friendly Boyz flash kit trank buster unit has shot that unit. You can make a normal move of 6 inches, and you must end within range objective, and you cannot charge until the end of the turn. So what you can do is, if you started on the board, not a transport, you can embark onto a transport, or easily go to a wall, run behind the wall, because also the wall you're shooting on is the freaking objective anyways, and go simple. 6-inch fire and fades are really good. But like I said, if you start on the board, you can still react to move into a transport. You just can't disembark from a transport, fire and fade, and go back in a transport. Yeah, that's really good. Okay, creating hunt show-offs. Your opponent shooting phase, after enemy you saw it, pick a tank buster flash kit, and you shoot back. These strats are not very good, though flash kits have 3 wounds. They're more likely to survive a shooting attack. Hit every 5 of them save. So this attachment is fairly crazy. Now you have flash kits that, hit a 4s, real 1s to hit, +1 AP, maybe ignores cover, rapid fire, +1 hit while in the tank, the truck, or the battle wagon. This seems really good with a battle wagon, by the way, because you have 22 firing tech, or even like, nah, not Hunter rig. The guns suck, because you can put 2 squads of flash kits in there and just table your opponent from the battle wagon shooting. Oh god. Oh no. All right, let's continue on. Like I said, that's why I want to save it for later. You know, do this part last so we can see all the data sheets and all the really good data sheets, and you know, see them with these upgrades. Also, this is, I like, it's called Wreckas, and it's about Brigade Boyz. This is a gun detachment. It's like no melee buffs. So like, there's like nothing for Brigade Boyz to do here. All right, let's continue on. All right, the big hunt in Madcap Meks. It's a big hunt. All right, friendly Beastsnaggas uses a targeted vehicle or monster +1 AP. It's already better than the other big hunt, because that one is you pick an enemy target to be your hunt target, and you get real charges with Beastsnagga units and +1 AP against target. This is just always +1 AP against vehicles monsters. So you know those I was talking about squigs earlier, trying to hunt down monsters. Now they won't whiff because they're not AP1 anymore. That's really good, and especially the beast bosses, you get them at the AP3 and kill them really good. So enhancements, Glory Hog. This used to be Scout 9, so luckily that's gone. When this unit is selected to make a fallback move, that fallback move, you can still fall back and charge. Like I said, this is relatively rare in Orcs, so this is probably will be useful. Wait. So it has to go on a pain boss. Because like they don't get Squig Hog bosses anymore. They only get so you can put on a pain boss, and if you want squigs to fall back and charge. And then it came from the drops. Like a joke. I don't understand that. Beast boss squig score is models plus our toughness, so it becomes T10. That's not the biggest breakpoint in the world. It has to be cheap. All right, where do you think you're going? Okay. Your opponent's move phase, when an enemy unit is selected to fallback, if that unit was engaged with a friendly Beastsnagga unit. All right, so it forces them to take a desperate escape. If that enemy unit was a vehicle monster, it must make 3 additional hazardous rolls with -1. So 4 hazardous rolls on 3 ups. That's like not that uncommon just to kill a vehicle. That's really funny. This is my favorite version of like a desperate escape strat, and more fun that this one is better against vehicles monsters. Usually way worse or don't work. Go into action. 1 CP. Your opponent's shooting phase. Enemy unit shot. Select 1 unengaged Beastsnagga, and make a surge move with D6. Or if you're out up rerolling, a reroll blood surge is like impossible to play around because you just have to always be outside 9 inches, or you might just risk losing the game. But it's just good. And I think blood surge is on strats are way better than data sheets, because a data sheet your opponent can play around the one guy who has it. But if it's on a strat or like an army ability, everyone in your army can perpetually do it, and your opponent has to play around every single guy being able to do it, which makes it way harder. And then finally, instinctive hunters. 1 CP. Enter your opponent's 5 phase. Select 1 unengaged Beastsnagga unit. Put it in your strat reserve. There we go. This is an attachment that doesn't seem ungodly broken like the other ones were. So please, more like this. This detachment looks good. But it definitely feels like a 1 DP. It buffs specific units into specific targets, but it buffs them well in that way. So that is a perfectly designed 1 DP in my opinion, not like the rest of this book. Madcap Meks. So this is like Libera's Conclave. Has no strats. So this is kind of like half of, they split Dreadmob in half. Dreadmob became like the Walker detachment, and this one became the Mech detachment. So it kind of split in half. So unpredictable genius. This detachment ability is probably one of the funniest detachment abilities they've ever made. In your shooting phase, when a friendly Big Mech Guns, Morkanaut, or Waz Bomb Blaster Jet is selected to shoot, unit range attack, target a single enemy unit. It only works if you target one guy. When you don't split, roll D6. And on dice roll, you get something. On a 1, they get a 4 beam will save. That's pretty bad. On a 2 to 3, you pick 1 enemy within 3 to take D3 mortal wounds. That's a good effect. On a 4, you get +1 to hit. That's really fucking good. This is, especially for the Waz Bomb Blast Jet, the best upgrade. Hitting on 3s, ignore cover, reroll once to hit. That's really good. So it's on a 4. On a 5, the enemy gains fly, and they can't. Oh, that's actually a benefit somewhat. So they gain fly and they lose cover until you're done shooting. So for the anti-fly weapons, you just gain a benefit. So this is so this would incentivize you to take more of the not the smash guns, the tractor cannons, I think. The one that's anti-fly to it. That's cool. So these are decent, really good depending on guns you take. And Runtify, target has -1 toughness until you unit shot. That's technically can be good. It depends what you're shooting. So 1 ungodly terrible buff, 1 good one, 1 really good one, 1 niche, 1 good one no matter what because it strips cover, but 1 decently very good one, and 1 nichely amazing one, just depending. And Vindicted Art. Oh, it has 1 strat. Sorry. Invictive Artillerist. Your shooting phase when a friendly mech gun is selected to shoot mech guns only. Units have lethal hits or sustain or both, and you get hazardous. That's really good. Especially if you can lead mech guns. Give that to the mech. I don't know if you can, but that would be good if you can lead them. So here's your enhancements. Mechwa Mastermind. Mech only. This unit is always riled up. So that is very good. You take that. Potentially you have It's only a big mech. Never mind. I'm thinking a big mech. Wait, does he have the key? I gotta check the keywords. All right, I was checking. So big mech and Nega armor isn't need a big mech, so he can take it. We're good. So that seems like I was trying to say really good for mega knobs, who you can take this with bully boys. It's also, you know, fun potentially and a cool idea to do it with the gun, you know, I was talking about, because this is really good for that. This is probably not the worst thing in the world because your AP is low anyways. This is quite good. This is quite good. This is very good, actually. Actually, benefit cover is not important because you strip cover anyways. And this is potentially really good. So it can make their shooting quite good. Temperamental Shaka. Okay, this is one of the coolest enhancements in the game. This attachment's just fun. Big Mech with shock attack gun only. In your shooting phase, when you select to shoot, you can roll d6. On a 1, your weapon gains torrent, and then you fucking die. Hey, you go out really good. You do a shit ton of damage, like d6 plus a bunch of shots, d3 plus 3 damage, a million AP. On a 2 to 5, you get +1 attack. And on a 6, you get sustain 2. I don't know. That's sweet. All right, enhanced Runt mod, another upgrade. Big Mech with shock attack gun only. When this unit has shot, select one enemy unit hit by those attacks and is affected by snotlings until start of your next turn. And while it's affected by snotlings, they get -1 leadership. Who cares? I guess it combos with tank busters. I guess that very much implies tank busters can be led by shock attack guns, which they can do now, so that's not unsurprising. Yeah, and giving the tank busters sustained hits and ignores cover is very helpful for one. But also, you know, it gives a -1 leadership, and tank busters shoot you and you take a -1 leadership test anyway, so I'd take a battle shock at -2 then. That's actually quite good. So this was a fun detachment. 2 more fun detachments, though I don't think either of these are bad, to say the least. Like I said, I think this combo is very well with bully boys. Or not the biggest surprise in the world. Like, I think the Big Mech gun is relatively crazy. He shoots really hard. Like I said, it was like 9 to 12 shots at damage 3. Like, what the fuck? Alrighty, let's get on to the next attachments. So these are the only attachments we don't have. So we don't have all the context, but they seem fine. Though we know nothing about Blitzkrieg because that's the wagon detachment, I think. But quickly, the only thing we know about Dreadnought is it's similar buff to it is now. It's actually a much better buff than it is now, but it only buffs specific things. So in your shooting phase or the fight phase, when a friendly walker unit that's not Titanic, so that's just like the new character guy, the Mech Dakarig, Def Dreads, and Killicans. That's it. You either pick one or you roll 2, and unlike freaking Spectacle Spite, you get a reroll until you get different results. What the fuck? And if you roll 2, you get hazardous, so I'm like, whatever. But you either get +1 attack, +1, +2 strength, +1 AP. All those buffs are really good. That's really good attachability. Sadly, we know nothing about Blitz Brigade. So let's continue on with Kult Speed and Flyboys. Okay, here's the detachment I keep making hints about. There's the strap. All right, Kult. Christ. Adrenaline Junkies. Friendly Warbikers have Battle Line, which used to be part of Wazdak's baseline ability. Now it's a attachment ability. Friendly Speed Freaks, as we saw all things Speed Freaks, planes are, but that doesn't count. They can't move, but like trucks, all the buggies, Def Cop does, bikes, all those jazz. Selected to make an advance or fallback move, you gain assault, and you can still charge. So baseline, all Speed Freaks, advance and charge, fallback and charge. Which what they did now, but that's still on the same buff because we saw how fast the bikes can go, and being able to do it without needing to be in WAD, even better, and you know, still fall back and do all that stuff. Really, really good. Obviously not as fast because some of that was talking about Warhorde, but the point is still the same. Those are insanely good attachability, especially for 1 DP. Not 2, not 3, 1. Smoking Gubbins. Speed Freaks only, excluding air effects. It's an upgrade when an attack. So it gives people cover that's behind you. If someone shoots someone behind you and you're in front of them, you give them cover. It just always activates the smoke grenade stratagem, which I don't think anyone's ever used that stratagem in 9th edition because it's useless, but that's what it does. When an attack targets unit that's not fully used, attacking. Yeah. Okay. Competitive Streak. Difficult only. This unit can reroll charge boost. This is good. You'll probably take it if it's not super expensive. But it's very restricted. You already reroll advances anyway, so in a lot of ways you can read this as reroll advances charges. That sounds better than it is, but that's what a lot of it says. Next, Delicious Eating Squeaks. I want this last. Storm. Your shooting phase when a friendly Speed Freaks unit selected to shoot, that Speed Freak units you gain sustained hits and shooting. It's cool with the Wazbomb Blaster Jet. I'll say that. All right, Speediest Freaks. Your opponent's shooting phase when an enemy targets a Speed Freaks unit. All right, this is another strat that people fucking hated in 9th edition. It's back. All right, your opponent's shooting phase when an enemy unit targets a Speed Freaks unit. That Speed Freak unit's range attack that target unit fail on an auto-modified 1, 2, or 3. This is what we call Trans Hitman. This existed in 9th edition, and they did not bring it back for 10th edition because people fucking hated this rule. Because it was annoying as fuck to play around. Because now you have big durable units that have a lot of wounds, can only be hit on a 4 at the best. So if you're like a army trying to hit on 2s, you -2 to hit. And that can be really annoying. All right, this strat, delicious eating squids. This strat, my fucking god. Your movement phase. Anytime in the movement phase, one friendly Rocket Truck Squig Buddy unit. Select any number of Ork infantry units within 3. Each of them heals 3. So if you have 3 Mega Knobs nearby, heal 3 Mega Knobs. If you have 3 Meks nearby, Knobs nearby, heal 3. If you have 5 Boy Squads nearby, heal 15 boys back to life. Best part is, since it's any time in your move phase, obviously that was an extreme example saying you have 3 Knobs nearby, 3 Mega Knobs nearby, 5 boys nearby. But the point is, it's anytime your move phase. So you can move your whole army up and then position the correct exact spot for the Squig Buggy to go, and boom, pop it, you'll shit ton of models. Remember, this is in your move phase, so now you get +3 to your charge, whatever. You heal 2 inches forward, and then now charge forward. Nichely, if you have a unit that goes up in the sky, I don't remember if there's any, but we'll just, for argument's say there's a unit that went up in the sky, you deep strike 8 inches from your opponent, and you were wounded, then you can heal forward and charge closer. But point is, since the timing is unrestricted, this should be in the command phase, by the way, is unrestricted, you can move your whole army forward, find the perfect spot for a Squig Buggy, put him there, and heal everyone. Or you move your Squig Buggy first, see where he goes, and you just move your whole army stringed out very easily. You have reroll advances too, and make sure every single unit has a guy within 3 of the Squig Buggy. And we saw I like the Squig Buggy buff anyways. -1 hit can be very good because both phases. And just heal everyone. Like we're talking about spamming 18 Mega Knobs. If you healing each Mega Knob a guy, and then maybe healing Gas-Cool 3 wounds because he's still infantry, and then healing another guy each of those because you brought sorry, whatever the word is. God, you can play Equatorial Hordes too. Oh my god. Oh fuck, I forgot about that. My god, fuck, guys, we're in a shit heap now. God damn it, this strat is making me so mad. Is they can all heal another guy, so you can heal 2 guys a turn if you have a mech in a mega boss squad. Or remember Pain Boys, they heal 3 wounds a turn. Once per game, they heal D3 extra. And with this strat, you're healing 3 extra. And if you play Equatorial Hordes, you heal D3 plus 3 too. So, say we're playing some attachment with boys. You have a boy squad. You have a war boss or whatever, and then you have a Pain Boy. So Pain Boy heals 3. Pain Boy heals D3 extra. Equatorial Hordes heals 2D3. You only use 1 strat so far. And that strat's in the command phase. And then your move phase, you heal 3 more. So you've healed 6 plus 2D3 or 3D3 to a unit, which is the average is 12. I don't fucking know, guys. This is ridiculous. And especially since it's in different phases, your command phase, you heal forward. And then your move phase, you heal even more forward because it's different phases. Yeah, this strat makes me mad. This strat's, I think this is I might be wrong. I may be overvaluing it, though I don't think so, unless the Squig Buggy is 180 points or whatever. But baseline rules to rules, having to ignore points, that's what we got right now, and I want to talk about this. I think this is the best strat in the game. Okay, let's continue on before I be mad. Flyboys! This attachment we're talking about where you can deep strike your army if you want to. This is fun. Friendly Ork aircraft do not count the combined points value of strategic reserve units, while friendly Ork or Def Copters riled up, they have +1 hit. This sadly doesn't interact with Def Copters because they get +1 hit when they deep strike. It's not +1 BS. Oh, it doesn't make them better in melee, I guess, or it doesn't require them to reserve, so it can be on the ground. But what this does do is make those Wazbomb and Blaster Jets always hit on 3s, which is really good. So maybe that's definitely a points unit. If that thing is like less than 190 points, get him in there. Fly boss. All right, Ork aircraft only. It's an upgrade, so you can do it 4 times, 3 times. I don't know, one of them. Unit has character. When this unit ends an aggressive move, each friendly aircraft or Depcopter is riled up automatically. So no matter what, that guy always hits on 3. And Depcopters always hit on 4s or 2s in melee, stuff like that. It's a good upgrade. Baseline upgrading the Waz bomb if it's not like 280 points to always hit on 3s. That's pretty good. Impulsive recon, another upgrade. Ork aircraft. This oh yeah, there we go. First move phase, you can ingress, so you can deep strike your whole army. No, how are you going to get alpha struck in turn 1 if you have nothing on the board? You know, because you can get 4 aircraft, you can take it 3 times. That's 12 of them. They're usually 120 to 200 points each. That's going to be a lot of points, and you can put 1,000 points of normal models in reserve. Yeah, with no effort, you can put 2,000 points Ork models in reserve. You know, live in the pre-8th edition days here, guys. But the turn 1 ingress, which is awful, and we should stop doing this. You can bring down 3 Waz bomb blaster jets in turn 1 and go and die, and table your opponent if you want to. Depending on the meta, if those are all DACA jets, DACA jets, that could kill people. I don't think this is probably broken. This is really points dependent, but that's something. Yeah, and then I was gonna say Depcopters are not aircraft, so you luckily can't use them on Depcopters. All right, flying. Oh no, this. I'll tell you guys about this strat. So flying headbutt is a strat from 8th edition. So flying headbutt. Okay. Any phase when a friendly Ork aircraft unit is destroyed before rolling deadly demise. That unit does not have deadly demise. Instead, select one enemy within 12 and roll 8d6 on for each 4 if they do 1 mortal wound. So instead, you don't explode and you do a +2 grenade on someone. That's actually fine. It's a fine strat. Deadly flying headbutt used to be in 8th edition. Aircraft, you've seen aircraft, they were like the same they were before they reworked them in 10th edition. They moved 20 to 80 inches. They did not have to start on the board until 10th edition. So usually in 8th edition, 9th edition, you took your 8 aircraft, you deploy in the backfield of your board, and you went 60 inches and you tabled your opponent. That's why they tried to make aircraft bad in 10th edition. It mostly succeeded. A flying headbutt was an Ork strat. I can just pull it up, actually. This is fun. Let's pull up flying headbutt for you guys. There we go. This is how strats used to look, by the way. So there we go. This is WoW PD. You can look at 8th and 9th edition rules if you're curious. Flying headbutt. Use a shout in the enemy room phase. Select 1 Ork unit for your army that has the flyer battlefield roll. That unit is reduced to 0 and automatically caught and burned, which means it exploded. And the burn jet exploded for 3 wounds. So you would take your burn jet and go, wee! All right. Everyone within 6, take 3 mortal wounds and explode and do like freaking 30 mortal wounds to your opponent on turn 1. So your opponent would add to, it was so annoying, by the way, because you have to specifically deploy your army. Like everyone needs to be like 12 inches away from each other because you had like a big model, and then every part had to be 3 inches separated. And I'm pretty sure you can fly sideways in 8th edition. I'm not 100% sure on that one. And then boom, everyone take a bunch of mortals. So you have to play everything correctly, and then they can do it every freaking turn. You know, take your first burn jet, wee, fly, boom, take a 50 mortal wounds. Do it again, boom. There you go, that's flying headbutt. You know, some little memories from 8th edition. Long uncontrollable burst, 1 CP. Shooting phase, when an aircraft or Depcopter is selected to shoot. When your unit range attack targets a fly unit, you can reroll hits. Well, that's really good. That does make those Depcopters a lot better. 4 is rerolling hits. Or the cool Waz bomb blaster jet. All right, this attachment, even though it's about aircraft, is pretty freaking good. All right, roll a jig evasion. 1 CP opponent's move phase. When an enemy ends a move, pick a Depcopter, and they can make a normal move a D6 or flat 6. Flat 6 reactive moves are really good. That's it. And like I said, considering how easy it is, like you do this and just automatically make them riled, let alone any of your characters or just being in the wall in general. So this detachment overall seems just good, but the units they buff are points spent. Like I said, I think 1 is decent, 1 is good, and 1 is like a nice support, and it's all points spent. If they're all above 200 points, they're all shit. And then this attachment's ridiculous. This strat is psychopathic that this strat was written this way. But let's continue on. All right, Brute Boss is another detachment that perfectly combines with Bully Boys. Woo, I fucking love Bully Boys. It was my favorite time. All right, Art as Nails. When a friendly War Boss model is destroyed, this unit, if they have not fought, and it's +1 if they're riled up. So War Bosses get a 3 up find death, 2 up if they're WAD. Easy. Simple. surely as a Squiggoth. So that's really good on something like, obviously that's kind of a direct non-bow with Mossrog, but it's really good on things like beast bosses, you know, the war bosses. There you go. Surely as a Squiggoth. Infantry war boss only. At the end of phase, model is destroyed. On a 2-up, he reses with 3 wounds. These are usually pretty decent. He is unengaged though, which means he doesn't have to take a battle shock test, but he will be actually under half, so he would. No, unengaged, sorry. I'll say he leaves his unit, but he would leave his unit since our reses work now. These are decent. I wouldn't say they're amazing, but considering how ungodly hard the Ork characters hit, probably better than most like character reses. Brutal but cunning. War boss on the model's attacks have 1 damage. That's really good. Let me check real quick if the Squig Boy is he is. Okay, so you can make his beast jaw d6 plus 1 at damage, flat 3 or flat 4. That's really good. You can make the war boss we talked about, who does 10 billion damage, flat 3, or you can make the mega boss flat 4, or if the beast boss too, if you want that guy for flat 3. All those are really good. It's a really good buff on all these guys, especially this guy with flat 2-up 5 on death. Oh, it's so gross. It's evil. This is evil. All right. Robot Cunning is an evil buff. All right, Blitz Boss. Oh, this one is fun. This is only enhancement detachment. No strats. Blitz Boss. Warband only. A transport unit this unit is embarked with has a 2+2 move and a 5-up invul save. That's just good. Make your big transport move 12. Make your trucks move 14. It's not walkers though. It's like make your stompers move 12 and your other guys move 11. But that's really good. Getting into combat nice and quick. Propa Killy. Warboss model, this model can reroll hits of 1. That is if it's like 10 to 15 points. Efficient because he goes to 2 rolling 1s. Like it's not like, oh, if I get my whole unit reroll 1s, that's pretty cool. But it is good. Morag's Thinking Cap. Warboss model only. Once per battle. At the end of your opponent's move phase, if this unit unengaged, make a normal move d6, rolled up, d6 rerollable. This means you can go back into transport since it's your opponent's turn, or just run behind a wall. Reactive moves really good. Reactive moves that can be better than they are normally. It's even better, even though it is still only d6 twice. And then finally, the Gobshot Thunderblast is a funny gun. I don't know if you can take this very often. You can give it to the Beast Boss if you want. Or Boss model only. Model has the following weapon. It is a 6-shot, strength 7, AP2, 2 damage gun at 24-inch range, hitting on 4s, and has lethal hits against non-monster vehicles and rapid fire 6. So 6 to 12 shots. It's funny. I don't know how finger to take it. It is 12 shots hit on 4, so it's like way better than a normal Ork weapon. But that is cute. Like I said, this attachment directly combos with Boyz or Greentide because you want to take a bunch of war bosses anyways. Blah 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 blah. No real choices there. Like you just do it. Like I said, it's hard to find. Taking the 3 DPs, I'm not like struggling. Okay, I want to take Boyz while the other ones suck. It's like, damn, what the fuck do I take here? Which is good for the Ork players, but showing how strong the rules are. Wurrband. This is showing you essentially the Psyker stuff. Powers of Dawa. Friendly Ork models psychic attacks, a +1 strength, and +1 strength for every 5 models in the unit or embarked with this model. So if you play a rig, what the heck is it called? A kill rig, then you get +1 strength with its las cannon, or +2 strength, +3 strength. So you get both, okay, or +3 strength with its las cannon. So strength 15, and then if you activate the psychic power to get psychic weapons and lethal hits, it makes its melee weapon up to 3 extra strength, which is quite good. It's fine. And then the other one that's really psychic is just because they got rid of the Wurboy and Foot, is the Weird Boy. And he's got the really good flamer we talked about, like 5-3-2, getting at the 6 up to 8-3-2 plus extra shots. That's quite strong. And next is every psyker gets 2 more powers. First one is Roar Mork. In your move phase, if this unit is not battle shocked, you can make a psychic roll for this unit, rolling 1d6. If you do on a 1 battle shocked, if it goes off, I guess it always goes off. Select one enemy unit, excluding monster vehicles, in 12. That unit takes a battle shock at -1 for each 10 models in unit. So up to -2. It's fine. Visions of Violence. Psychic power 1. If it's not battle shocked in the fight phase, roll dice. On a 1, you become battle shocked. On not a 1, you become fight first. That is fine. And let's actually pull over and look at the psychic stuff specifically. All right. Sorry, this is kind of weird. Didn't zoom in very well. I figured it out. I was using the weird online client. So this is how this is the boss this time out. If you have your warlord on the battlefield, you gain +1 CP. And on stable energies, Orc Psychers has ability have a psychic level 1 or higher, especially the units. Well, they're all 1. Each psychic ability has psychic power 1 or higher, specified the ability. In the battle round, a friendly Orc Psychic unit can use a number of psychic abilities whose total power not exceed the psychic level. So exactly what I said, no differences. So if you're psychic level 3, you can use 3 1s, a 2 and a 1, or 1 3. If you're level 1, you can use 1 1. No differences there. And then quickly over here, let's look at the pulse check, because the only one we saw with it, which is weird, why is it here, was Wazdaka. So you move pulse roll plus 18. So it adds, it's a +4 advance, essentially. And then you gain a super fly. You can move through models, and you can move through trains. So you gain super fly, and then you must be on engage, obviously. And you cannot charge or an action, but you get minus what, but you can still shoot. So that is what pulse jet was. So let's continue back to the spellcast. All right. So like I said, visions of violence, that can be good. So risking being battle shocked is stinky winky. It's only a 1 though. But if you have 3, because seemingly they could all cast the same power. So this is kind of funny if you have 3 Boyz and just use Roar Mork 3 freaking times. -2 battle shock, -2 battle shock, -2 battle shock, and your opponent will probably pass all of them. But that can't give up. But doing this 3 times, then giving a bunch of your army fight first, that can be scary. Fight first is very good when there's a lot of fight first. All right, so this one is like Librarian's Conclave, which all enhancements. All right, the Crunch. So essentially just gives them more psychic spells and stuff. But this one's a gun. All right, the Crunch is an enhancement. It says psychic model only. This model has a flying weapon. So you can, no, it's only on the weird boy because the other guys aren't casters, aren't characters. So Crunch is 3 attacks, hitting on 4, strength 5, AP 1, 1 damage. It looks like it's blast 3, it's hazardous, it's lethal hits, and psychic. It's cute. It still, it lets him cast that plus his own spells, so he becomes like a really damaging guy. All right, Headbanger, psychic model only. This model has a flying weapon. 2 shots, strikes. It's 6 or 8, AP 3, 1 to 3 damage. I'm gonna assume that's supposed to be 3, but like I said, this is hard to read. Little blurry on the pictures, so that doesn't seem great either. Even if it was 3 damage, it's like fine. All right, and Warp Add, psychic model only. This has psychic level 2, has Deadly Demise D6, which if you guys didn't know, Deadly Demise technically works on the unit base. GW has not fixed that. So if you have Deadly Demise in your model, your whole unit gains it. So and can reroll psychic tests. So it makes a pretty interesting weird boy, but whatever. So this is really the first attachment. I'm like, this is fine. It's like every other 1DPs. It's cute. It's fun. It's flavorful, but it's not crazy. Unlike almost every other 1DP we saw here. And let's finish this out with the last 2 attachments that we saw in Warcom anyways, so nothing crazy here. And finally, Runt Swarm and Shoota boys. All right, Runt Swarm is the Grot attachment. Alrighty. This is sneaky little gits. Friendly Gretchen to have battle line. And when friendly Gretchen is selected to make an advance or fallback move, it can still action. Very similar. There's a million attachments like this that make your shitty unit action and stuff. There you go. Extra sneaky upgrade. Gretchen have -3 detection range. This can be good. 9-inch hidden can be really good. I don't know how much you want to upgrade a Gretchen though, but I'm not saying it's bad. All right. And then Gretchen only unit was used not barked, so no transport. That has Scout 6. We didn't really see any Scout in the Codex like at all, so there you go. Minefield detail. That's really funny. Rebellious, lazy, or just plain unlucky Gretchen are driven into dangerous vanguard duties. These are run scamper forward with the hope of making it through as quickly as possible. Jesus. All right. Infested War Zone. This is hard to read. Sorry. 2 CP. 2 CP. Oh, that's why. Any phase when an enemy unit is attacked, 1 friendly Gretchen that was just destroyed, you can just use a strat, and you resurrect a new Gretchen in strat reserve. This is fine. You can only use the strat once, because that's the core rules, I'm pretty sure. And it is nice to get a free unit, but they are Groth. They don't really do a lot in this codex. Scrapper? What? This is a stupid British word. Scarper. Come on, British people. Speak real words. 1 CP, your opponent's move phase when a friendly unit ends a move with an 8 of an unengaged Gretchen. That Gretchen unit make a normal move of D6 or 6 if you're an attached unit. So very similar to the Dread Mob Trap. Which is the same, but it also grenaded you. Cha! All right. Garrote Shield. Another strat, if you remember 8th edition. 8th edition grot shields before I got nerfed was if someone, and also they had a worse version in 9th edition, I think. When someone is within 6 of a grot, 3 of a grot, and your grot would intercept through attacks. Here you go. Say they're shooting this mutilator, and the grot is here, and they're shooting from this direction. The grot would take the damage instead. So one of the best shooting units in the game in 8th edition was a Luda, and you would have a strat called, I don't know. You could combine Luda squads. You could take a 10-man Luda and combine it with a 15-man Luda to make a 25-man Luda. And you would sit them on top of ruin, blast people. And then you would put like 60 grots in front of it, and then the grots would take all the Luda damage, and Luda would shoot you forever. There you go. There's some little history for you. And grot shields. Your opponent shooting phase with enemy unit targets friendly grot infantry, including Gretchen unit, Orcs infantry. One friendly Gretchen unit within 3 of the Orcs infantry. When a hit roll for the enemy unit, it targets the Orc unit, results in a hit if a model in your Gretchen unit is on the battlefield and the attack sequence and your Gretchen suffers 1 mortal wound, which is cute. You can do it where your Boyz or whatever, or your Meganobs. Oh god, you can just on Meganobs and make them invincible. Because also, this strat might be OP. The issue is they hit your Meganob and just ends the attack sequence, and a grot takes 1 mortal wound. Luckily, the strat targets the grot unit and not the Meganobs. But fundamentally, they still need 20 hits to do damage to kill you. Or I guess you can lead them with Runt turds if they're cheap enough. They try and get a bigger squad. This might be really strong because the issue is you can keep your Meganobs on ejective to have cover and such, and then have grots behind it where they're not being shot by anything. And as long as they're within 3 of the Meganob unit, you're fine. This is a big thing to think out for. I think if you're trying to make the Omega Flash Kit Meganob stat check, this detachment, the Meganob detachment, and the Breaker Wreckas detachment is very interesting. Though you obviously don't get the OP Evil Suns detachment that's broken. At least the strat is. But this is really, really good. Because fundamentally, it means if long they need 20, it absorbs 20 hits minimum. So they have to already hitting on 4s or 5s, depending on what their baseline BS is. There's 20 hits that just don't go to your Meganobs, and then your Meganobs start taking damage with AOC. That could be spooky. And you can wait too. It's not the start of the shooting phase, so you can't like, okay, your opponent they would have to try and bait it out. They can't just like, okay, target you and then kill you with all the shitty weapons. So this is a very skill-based strat that can just make you invincible. Like you can just wait and see they shoot all the crappy guns. You just wait until they shoot the efficient anti-lead infantry and just take all the crappy guns on the face, because they'll just keep going in and trying to make you pop the strat, and you're like, whatever, I'll keep going until you hit your melta guns. Like especially melta guns, you're like, here's 5 shots to melta squad. I'm gonna try and kill your Meganobs. They have a no save. Now I pop the strat. Right? Oh, well, that sucks. So yeah, I would say that's really, really, really good. And you can still res me, bring back your 20 squad. More spooky. All right, finally is Shoota Boyz. This is like the more DACA attached to those exist, and now it does. All right, friendly Orc infantry units have assault and while it's riled up +3 range. Assault is very good. A +3 range is also quite decent, especially on something like Flash Kits. And it is all Orc infantry. So what else uses it? Tank busters like this. They like the assault. +3 range helps them. Boys don't care. They don't shoot. Obviously, we don't have looters anymore. We don't have burners anymore. Flash kits, that's really it. Okay. Super glowy thing, or any of like the hybrid units like Mega Knobs and Knobs. They don't mind. To be fair, the assault part is nice, but in the grand scheme of things, not that helpful because WOG gives you assault. Obviously, I'm not playing every model in your army can be WOD all the time, but we saw how freaking easy it is to make things at WOD. So getting things assault when you need it, it's not hard. Super glowy thing. Orc infantry unit, excluding weird boys, of course. Small's range attacks have anti-infantry 4, devastating wounds, super hazardous, which makes they take 2 hazardous deaths. Woo. Let's look at one model this is going to be very good on. First, this guy, who will have a custom Mega Blaster plus the Teleport Blaster. That's really good to give that anti-infantry 4 and dev wounds, considering he's going to ignore cover, maybe has +1 to hit. Will have sustained hits. That's really freaking good. Or the other, a slightly obvious one is that guy. Can't really read that, but this weapon. Those are kind of the obvious ones. So that's a really good upgrade. All right. Luckily, you only take one of them, but that seems very spooky, to say the least. And I don't care about super hazardous. Okay. Targeting squigs. Big Mech, Big Boss, or War Boss model. This unit's range attacks, including Tor weapon, have +3 range. Why would you put it on a War Boss? This unit's range weapons. Oh, okay. So it can be +6 range. Very good on a flash kit. Hope you can't lead them. Anything else that matters on? Obviously, it's very good on Mega Knobs. It's actually very good at Mega Knobs if you're taking the custom Shoota profile that gives them the small flamer. Because actually, and either of the flamers, either you get an 18-inch heavy flamer, and then that's a terrifying Overwatch threat, or you get the shitty pistol flamer that has way more shots, mostly, depending if you're not fighting like Blast 4. And then that becomes a super insane Overwatch threat. Then it's actually 12-inch ranges as Assault. Oh my god. Like, this is another attachment. I'm like, this is probably good. And then reading more, I'm like, I hate you, Mega Noms. I hate you so much. That's terrifying. All right, custom TAC, 1 CP. Your shooting phase on a friendly Ork infantry select to shoot. Pick that infantry unit. The unit's range attacks that don't target monster vehicle up also in a wound. Well, that seems pretty good with the flamers. Wound most things on 2s if you take the heavy flamers, or 3s if you don't. We'll continue on. Or, you know, flash gets. So I'm thinking, oh my god, this is hard. Let's finish this detachment. All right, glowing Daka. Your shooting phase on a friendly Ork infantry unit is selected to shoot. That Ork infantry unit's range attack with a 9 and +1 AP. Flash hits and Mega Knobs. Never ending Daka, because guess what? It's within 9, so you can use it from Deep Strike if you use it on Mega Knobs. Never ending Daka. Your shooting phase on friendly infantry unit is selected to shoot. That Ork infantry unit gets sustained 1s. Also good. Okay, so that is the Codex. It's insane. I think the most obvious one is Shoota Boyz. Plus, where is it? Wreckas and Bully Boys. I think it's the most obvious combo. You just take all the Mega Knobs, all the flash kits, and you fill the rest of your army with whatever. And you table your opponent in 3 seconds, and then they can't kill you. Because this hard counters the counter meta of the game right now, which is mass 3. Like, the meta is either table your opponent in 3 seconds with kind of a glass cannon army, or play Omega, stat check, durable things, stand up points, and then kill your opponent eventually. Mega Knobs and flash kits hard to counter the second part. And 2, they're also impossible to kill too. So they do both. They do the stat check of being impossible to kill and really durable, and they also counter the stat check otherwise. So that's very good. But we will see. There's other, like I said, there's many attachments. Like, I think it's hard not to play Bully Boys and Wreckas just off the bat. But there's a million you're gonna do. I think unless Bully Boys are overcosted, you know, these are all implying things are costed adequately. I think you're just gonna take 18 Mega Knobs on day 1. Just do it again. You know, GW, thank you. You can take your 18 Mega Knobs. You can even put them in transports. You can even deep strike them because you have a teleport boss right here. That's what I was talking about. Like, super combo. You can teleport in and do the super flamer from 12 inches away. You can teleport and do it, or just even 9 inches away. Look at that. You can do it from 9 inches away and teleport 8 inches away. Your gun has 9 inches of range now. Whoosh. Flame people to death. And then move again and go whoosh, do it again. This is your durable melee unit, but shoot them. But there's also things like Speed Freaks, whether it be Speed Freaks or using the most broken strat in 40k. Kult of Speed, delicious eating squigs. I even think the planes are super good because, like, obviously we're missing 2 attachments. Do I think they're going to be bad? Probably not. The only, like, even, oh my god, and there's even Runt herds. Like, even this attachment, if you're trying to do, like, durability skew, I think this can be insane. The only attachment that doesn't look actively, like, good is Wurrband. Everything else looks insane, or this is good. And pick whatever fucking combo you want, which is nice. It's good to be strong. But comparing this codex to all 10th edition codexes is night and day. And this is an issue, like I talked about in my last video. And an issue with 9th edition, and this codex might be overhyped. They might price it accordingly, and this army is not broken. I hope that's true. That's exactly what I want, because I don't want to be sad. But this style thing is exactly what happened in 9th edition. Exactly happened in 9th edition. People were playing their 8th edition codexes. And every new codex that came out in 9th edition went better. And went the stat check, maybe not stat check, but the power creep went up. And playing these old codexes from edition that they're not made for was not fun. Like, people still talk about, remember when Chaos Space Marines had 1 wound Space Marines for 3 years? Or 2 years into the edition, 3 years from the beginning of the first edition. Yeah. I played Custodes, and I forced myself to get Best in Faction using the 8th edition codex. Because the LVO that where the Best in Faction award were released, rewarded. I don't know, you can't see it, but it's back there somewhere. I'm gonna need a shelf so you guys can see my awards better. Was pretty much one of the first tournaments that Codex was even legal for. So I didn't even get to play my Codex for Best in Faction pretty much the whole time. I played the Ancient Codex, which sucked. Custodians had 3 attacks in 8th edition, by the way. And all the damage was D3. Everything sucked in that Codex. It was terrible. What we played was 3 Telemons, some Sagittarium, and Gun Venatari. Yeah. So I'm saying it's not a fun experience. GW, I'm hoping this army's balanced. Which... Even another issue that this is just way more options than the armies. It's just way more open-ended because everything is 1 DP here, and they don't feel like 1 DPs. I'll tell you that. These feel a lot better than most of 2 DPs. And even though this isn't broken, Orks will be the most flexible army in the game. Like we saw here, did we really even find a bad data sheet? It was hard. I don't think I found one bad data sheet. The Blitzobama? Was that the worst data sheet? It wasn't even like actively terrible. I think that was the worst data sheet we found. So Orks will probably be one of the most open-ended codexes and most viable codexes until everyone starts getting the 10th edition codexes, 11th edition codexes. And if we go off what GW has been notoriously doing, is they don't release codexes in the winter. That's what they did in 10th edition. They usually release codexes till like October, maybe November, and then take November, December off. So and then in the middle to the end of January is usually when they start releasing again. So we're probably only gonna have 3 to 4 codexes this year, maybe 5 if we're really lucky, out of like 20 something. That's not gonna be good in my opinion. So I'm not trying to be a doomer about this, but here's the whole book. We've seen everything. The only thing we don't have is points and technically what things can lead. So that might be a saving grace. We will probably see this weekend because I think I'm not one of the privileged few, but the people who get the stuff early can show all the rules. But that is the codex. Let's go to this front page. I hope it was informative. I hope I could give you some nice little perspective of what my idea is about, what is probably going to be good. I know I might be wrong, obviously, could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I've been right before, but I've been wrong before. So I'm hoping this army is not overpowered, because overall this codex looks very fun to play. So good for the Ork players. To be fair, the Ork players said that for the last codex, and then after Greentide and Boyz got nerfed, they stopped playing their codex. But this codex does look fun. It makes me want to play Orks again, even though because I didn't like 10th edition Orks. In my opinion, were very boring. 9th edition Orks, love that army. But this army does look fun and makes me want to play it. But I'm hoping it's not broken. I'm hoping it isn't. Though, if you read the title of the video, I do think it is. But that's all I got for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you like my perspective and what I could give you. If you need any Warhammer Spice, please use the affiliate link in the description. It gives you a nice % off. Orks are on pre-order there right now. So get there. Tell them I sent you. Tell Mr. Dustin I said hi. But that's all I got for you today. If you, I will be having the next video will be a membership video, I think, on Teams, team-based 40K in general, not the program teams. So if you want to watch that, please sign up for the membership program. I'm posting a video there less than every week nowadays. It's usually, I release a video there every 6 to 8 days, and then I release an early video on there less than that. So there's a lot of videos on the membership side that you can see. and all my short form battle reports are going on that site. So if you want to see them, please sign up. But that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it was informative, and I hope you guys have a great day. And one last thing is, there is a Deploy on the Line RTT, and signups are until next week, like next Thursday or whatever when I close them. This is just a nice little TTS RTD for my community. If there is an odd amount of people, I will play. So if you want to play me, maybe sign up for it. For that, it'll be through the Discord. I will have the TTS, the BCP linked in the description of the video. But I just want to post that out. If you want to join, please sign up. And then there'll be a little prize at the end, little Discord thing. But that's all. Thank you. You all have a great day.